Hello, listening people.
Good day.
You're listening to Spin Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm Ryan Sliwinski.
I said good. I'm Bartek.
Okay. You said I'm good Bartek. Hello, good Bartek. I am Evil Ryan, and we are both hosting a podcast in which we have to do feature-length audio commentaries for movies that we consider to be unappreciated masterpieces. Hence the show is called Unappreciated Masterpieces. We find movies that need to be talked about. Not ones that are completely forgotten, but not ones that are completely remembered either. Ones that have lingered in the taste buds of the public, to say the least. You know, the ones that aren't necessarily exciting the taste buds, but aren't making that bitter taste either. These films have something to them. The thing I think of when we do episodes is we find a movie, and the thing about movies is someone wrote a script, someone directed, someone acted, someone did the costume. People spent time on these projects, and us, the audience, we just didn't spend the time to watch them or appreciate them. And I think that's just sad. You know, someone out there wrote a script thinking, yes, this is going to appeal to people, and it didn't. And that's upsetting, because these aren't the movies that are cynical hack pieces of trash. These are gems amongst the wreckage. These are unappreciated masterpieces. Bartek, what is the unappreciated masterpiece we're going to be covering in this episode?
Today, we are covering the 2008 classic film Nawiedzona Narzeczona.
Well, here's the thing, you know. We're called Spit and Polish, likingly because we're always spitting, and we both happen to be Polish. And the thing is, although I am Polish with the last name Sliwinski, I don't speak Polish. And Bartek always, no matter what, unless he can't find a Polish title, always says the titles in the native language of Poland, and I don't know how to speak it. And it insults me. It insults the guest, because the guest doesn't know Polish. Nobody speaks Polish, Bartek, not even the Polish people.
So just to be clear, the native language of Poland is Polish, right?
I think.
Right, okay.
Is it not?
It is, yes, it is.
Is it Is it not?
It's Polish, yes.
Is it called Polish? Or
yes,
is it
yes,
Polski?
In Polish, it's Polski. Yeah.
There you go. See, now I know more Polish. So what's the movie we're watching?
Nawiedzona Narzeczona.
Yeah, but what's the film in English? I don't know what we're watching in Polish.
Oh, you want to know what Nawiedzona Narzeczona is in English?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Ryan, I'm gonna tell you over her dead body what the title is. It's over her dead body.
It's Over Her Dead Body, the 2008 classic with Eva Longoria, Parker, Lake Bell, and Jason Biggs. I mean, I'm excited.
And that Ant-Man dude.
Oh, Stephen Root, yeah. So, I'm excited to do the Over Her Dead Body movie.
You're excited.
I'm excited.
Just
Are you?
you?
I can't speak for you.
And me?
I'm excited. Are you excited?
Is there a third excitement
As
in the
Big
room?
Kev would have asked, are you excited? Because he sure was. Who is excited with us today, Bartek? Whose excitement can the microphone feel?
Well,
other than us.
That's a reference to a previous episode where we had a guest, a very fantastic guest, who appeared for the 4th time, and today that guest is appearing for the 5th time.
That's maths.
4 plus 1 is maths. Ladies and gentlemen, special guest Rhys McKenzie.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Rhys
Yeah.
McKenzie?
It is how you pronounce my name. Thank you, Bartek.
Nice droning voice, Rhys.
Thank you.
It's my favourite drone.
It's pretty monotonous today. I'm not gonna...
Is it because this movie was so exciting that it drained all the energy out of you? Because I know it's pretty exciting.
I literally watched this morning, and it literally got me out of bed, guys. That's how excited.
How early did you have to watch this movie?
8:30.
Wow, you know, you really nailed
it's
it.
on YouTube, so I thought...
What time is it now, guys, for reference?
We're not going to mention that, because the audience doesn't need to know.
It's
they
3
could be
past 1
watching
PM.
it.
Wait, what reference?
They don't need to know what time we're recording this
Reese, when
because they're listening to it. So they could be listening to it at 8:30 in the morning. They're like, Reese is watching it now. That's weird, you know?
I
who
see
knows?
what you're talking
So guys,
about.
get your copy of the film ready, because what you're going to do is you're going to have your copy ready. If you like, you don't have to, but it'll be much appreciated.
Like
unlike
Reese
the
said,
movie.
it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
In 10 parts?
And
roughly, yeah.
And or you could just buy the legal copy, of course. And you're going to watch the film with us if you can. We're going to do a countdown, and you're going to hear our views, our commentary of the film. If you have seen the film before, you'll have a great understanding of what we're talking about. We're going to be shooting straight down the middle here, guys. We are going to be talking about Over Her Dead Body, spoilers and all. So get your copy ready, because we're going to start this beautiful, emotional film in 3.
2.
Why are you laughing? 2.
Emotional?
Did you not like it? 1. I don't think you liked it. Play. So we are now 3 seconds into the film. Great. And here we are with an opening logo. And Rhys has already dived into the board. Rhys, what did you find to be an emotional part of this film? Or what was it, the emotion it gave you?
Boredom.
It bored you. You're not a fan. You're not a fan? Why do we keep getting guests on fans of these unappreciated masterpieces? We're trying to prove that this is a good movie.
Well, I'm
That really looks like Eva Longoria, by the way.
This is an opportunity for me to appreciate this unappreciated masterpiece, and I shall go forward and hear what you two have to say about this film being exciting.
Well, I'll be honest with you. In these photos here, in the opening credits, there's only that last photo that made me realize that was Paul Rudd. I didn't know who that guy was.
Yeah, why didn't you mention him in the sort of intro to this?
It was a joke, Reese.
Oh.
I wanted it to be like a sucker punch for when I mentioned him. They'd be like, oh, he's in this too? Why did he mention not him first? Because Paul Rudd, not big guy in this movie. He wasn't a leading man until nowish.
Well, he sort of becomes a leading character.
In this film, you're right.
Yes.
This is really where he got the role of Ant-Man, I would say. You know, they saw his dry wit, his romantic chemistry with the amazing comedic performance by Lake Bell, who really steals the show in this movie, I will say.
I would dare say that he got the role of Ant-Man from Halloween 6.
No,
Yes.
it's definitely this, and you know, Sam Pancake did an amazing job in this movie. I really thought Sam nailed it.
Who's saying pancakes?
Well, I didn't say pancakes, just pancake.
Oh, sorry.
Pancake sounds funnier.
Pancakes
Sam
are really good.
Pancake is great.
I really do like this intro. It's very nicely done.
Yeah, we did a film recently called Bride Wars. This would be our 3rd chick flick that involves weddings in some way, shape, or form.
Also, probably our 3rd chick flick in general, maybe?
Yeah, you could say that.
I am a general
4th,
fan of
if
chick
you want to
flicks.
say Red Riding Hood's a chick flick.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with, Sorority Boys.
Sorority Boys is a chick flick too. So, Reese was not a fan. Bartek,
But I can be convinced otherwise.
you're not forgiven though.
What?
Reese, Reese,
what?
why were you not a fan?
I
Is it
don't know.
because it was boring? What?
What?
Audience, just to let you know, Ryan turned right to me and said, Reese! And then he had to justify it by asking Reese another question.
No.
Okay.
I didn't want to look at Reese because he's disgusting me right now with
And
his
then you
lack
looked
of
at him.
appreciation.
Oh, Ryan, look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me.
So, Reese, why did you not appreciate this film? Because I know, looking into Bartek's eyes right now, that he really loved the movie. And I loved the movie. You know why, Reese? Why do you have to be the antagonist to this film's prestigious nature?
Well, I do like the antagonist. She does play a very good antagonist.
No, you're the antagonist to
What?
this film.
What? Why am I the antagonist?
Because you're the one here who's come in and you're like, I don't like this movie.
Hold on.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I
Wait.
said I was just a tad bored.
Hold on, Ryan.
Tad now. Oh, okay.
Reese, would you give it more than 50%?
Yes.
Then he's not the antagonist.
Oh, well, you know what they...
Rotten Tomatoes is the antagonist here, Ryan.
Well, that's okay then. So, Bartek, you loved the film. I can tell by the smile on your face as we're reliving it in this.
It's important
viewing.
to note for the people who don't know about this film that this is a romantic comedy, and I actually laughed quite a bit throughout the film.
And I felt the romance. Now-
put us together, and we're not only good and evil, but romantic and
And then
comedy.
there's Rhys, who kind of muddles the whole formula up, as usual.
You felt the romance. You touched it. You felt its presence.
I tasted it in my mouth.
You tasted it in what? You can't do. Oh God.
Usually,
Rhys is a bit slow on the ball today.
Yes.
usually when I watch these films, it's
Okay.
on a okay.
I just want to make a point soon about
Angels
what
do have wings.
Angels do have. Angels don't always have wings.
They do, though.
Eva Longoria Parker is character. Is
She's
not
Catholic,
right.
so they believe that.
Catholic. I would just like to make a point about this sort of death scene that comes up. Spoilers. Sorry.
Okay, well, hurry, because I want to talk about this lady.
The wedding lady. All right, you talk about her first.
I also want to talk about it.
You do?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
You go first.
Maybe Rhys should go first then.
All right.
No, Bartek,
As
he
you-
goes last. Because the death is the whole point of the movie. This chick only appears once.
Yes, Karen, I think her name is.
Yeah, Kaza.
So she's played by an actress named Ali Hillis,
Oh, yeah.
and when you know her.
No. I just wanted to support you.
Usually when I watch these films, it's on a Saturday afternoon, and usually a friend of mine logs in on Facebook, and I chat with him while I'm watching it.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was chatting to him when the credits showed up. I'm like, oh, Ali Hillis was in this film. We know her mainly as a voice actress. She played the controversial main character of Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, wow.
Lightning.
Controversial.
So we were just having a little chat about, hey, dude, Ali Hillis is in this film, and she's not playing, a cold character.
Excellent.
So that just gave me a little bit of a, extra.
Was it
love
weird
for-
to see her as a person?
It was, yes.
Did she match what you thought?
Not really, because Lightning has pink hair, so that's one thing that was different. Although the hair was kind of similar, and also because that character was so cold, hearing her be kind of submissive was kind of like a different look at her. So it really gave. This film gave me something personal to enjoy. And,
Yeah.
she only says 4 words, and only one of them vaguely sounded like something Lightning would say.
Typical Lightning. Rhys, I'll be kind, and let's hear your view on death.
She was crushed to death by the ice sculpture.
Yeah?
I don't believe that.
Why?
I would believe that she got hit on the head.
But
and she would've-
she's... Do you know how tiny she is?
Eva Longoria Parker.
Yeah.
No.
She's incredibly tiny.
Well, she.
And that statue was
how would an
clearly...
ice
That
sculpture-
statue is clearly 7 foot tall, if not more, because
I don't-
Stephen Root is about 6 foot tall,
I
and it was
still
way
think-
above his height, and he was
still-
the sculptor.
I still think it wouldn't have crushed her to death. I think
She's
Eva
a
Longoria
very
Parker-
tiny woman who got crushed by a massive ice sculpture.
So just
Just because it's made out of ice, you don't think that it could kill you? Is that what you're telling me, Rhys?
I think if it was made out of ice, it would have just knocked her out. But
No.
not crushed her to death.
It crushed her.
I didn't get the impression that it crushed her. I got the impression that it was blunt force trauma.
But Rhys wants it to be crushed.
The,
so that
the
he
angel
can
in the scene said crushed to death.
Well, yeah, because her head was crushed and...
Actually, if she specifically said crushed, then I can see where Rhys is coming
But
from.
I think I'm right about this issue. She's a
If
tiny
it-
woman,
if it
and
was
it's a
bl-
massive statue. If it fell, you know what I mean?
I could really see blunt force trauma.
Internal bleeding would be definitely...
Maybe-
And she did say, she died straight away.
Oh, yes.
So, I want to go back to... What was her name? Lightning?
The actress or the character?
Both.
Ali Hillis, and I
Ali
think Karen
Hillis
was the character's
Ali
name.
Hillis was being unreasonable. And here's something I want to go at. Eva Longoria Parker gets a lot of negative criticism for this movie because of her character. They say that she's annoying, that she's shrill, and overbearing. And the thing that I really found interesting about this movie is I went in blind. I knew nothing about the movie other than Eva Longoria was in it and that it was about her being a ghost. And the thing I found very interesting about Lightning in this was she was something that I agreed with about Eva Longoria, which was Eva Longoria told this woman at a wedding, make sure that the vegetarian appetizers and the meat appetizers do not touch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that could be considered pedantic, but that's actually a valid thing for that kind of dietary need, and that was really what we were given before she died as the bitchy thing. She was being really harsh on this woman about making sure that they didn't screw this up, but I was on her side, Eva Longoria. I thought, No, Eva Longoria is right. They shouldn't touch. They shouldn't be mingling together the meat and the vegetarian options, because then vegetarians won't want to eat it if the meat's touching like that kind of thing is real.
It's like when you have pickles in your burger, you can remove it, but the residues.
Yeah, exactly, or beetroot or something. So it's like, I agreed with Eva Longoria, and the thing I kept finding myself doing was agreeing with Eva Longoria throughout this movie. Like, not necessarily about her chasing off this Lake Bell, but about the angel having wings, about this, and this, and Stephen Root killing her and not having to really, suffer, and he was still drinking and all that after he did that. It's like he never learned a lesson and all this kind of stuff. I found myself agreeing with Eva Longoria quite a lot in this movie. And I found that very interesting, because you would consider her mentality to be that of, in a lesser movie, she would be this annoying, shrill, overbearing bitch who everything out of her mouth is pedantic to the point of it being incorrect, but she was actually correct for me personally, and I think that's a very interesting thing. Like, I love how the angel, the figure of God, is the most unreasonable person in this entire film. Like,
well, I crushed it to death. I mean,
Eva Longoria rocks up into the limbo, and she just basically is confused, like you would be if you died suddenly.
Yeah.
And the angel's already not having it. And then she's like, I was supposed to get married. So, understandably, Eva Longoria, very upset. And the angel, still not having it. No patience. And you think patience being a virtue, an angel would have. Nope. But then, angel gets pissed off when Eva Longoria says, "Where's your wings?" And that's when the angel just disappears and leaves Eva Longoria's character to wander the earth for, like a year or two? Not knowing her purpose? Basically committing her to a form of hell on earth because the angel had no patience. That's the thing that I find funny. People, like, in a lot of reviews, Eva Longoria is unreasonable. But really? I think this movie is saying a comment about religion by saying, hey, isn't it weird that the figure of religion in this movie, there's two, one of which is an actual angel of God and the other is a servant of God. One is more patient, more loving, more caring, and the other is not. And it's very funny that the priest is very understanding of the situation, doesn't even really question the situation of a ghost, but the angel can just not stand being questioned about wings. I think it's very interesting.
I would like to make the point, it's not really a hell on earth,
For her, it is.
For Eva Longoria Parker's character. I think it's more of a quest she has to get. A quest she has to take. I said not get.
Reese, have you seen the South Park episode where Cartman thinks that he's dead?
Yes.
It's basically that.
Yeah, but it's a quest. It's like Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, and she is Train Ghost.
She's what?
Train Ghost.
She's Train Ghost.
In the film Ghost, Bartek, have you seen it?
Nah.
In the film Ghost, there is a ghost that lives on a train. He's been left on Earth this entire time, not knowing, never been told, never been informed on what his mission on Earth is. And it's never truly stated in the film Ghost how long this specific ghost that haunts a train has been on Earth. But you can tell by his behavior and his lack of regard that he's been on Earth in between far too long. He's the ghost that teaches Patrick Swayze how to interact with physical objects in the real world, that you have to manifest all your hate and anger. And I feel like Eva Longoria was actually the train ghost, but before going crazy, because she never in this film got to deliver the message. And if it wasn't Stephen Root just casually being dead, she would never have known. Never have known.
No, she would never have known.
The angel never came back.
No, the angel just didn't want to have it.
And that's the angel's fault for the lack of patience.
Yes.
Being a servant of God like an angel is, they should have patience.
So two things. First of all, for people watching for the first time, the lady that lives in this apartment is our main character.
Yeah.
So yes, say hello, everyone. Hello.
Oh, if
And
you
this
also
is
thought
also-
Eva Longoria was going to be in the first 40 minutes of the film, you were wrong.
She was in
Like,
the
she was
first
in the
couple of minutes.
first 3.
Oh yes, and the sitcom character that Jason Biggs plays, and then look, his arm is on fire.
That's
oh,
such
dear.
a Reese thing to do.
Why is it a Reese thing to do.
'Cause
I
you-
never set myself
Also,
on
Paul
fire.
Rudd's in this movie. I don't know if we mentioned that before.
I
but
will
here he
never
is.
set myself on fire. I mean, well, not on purpose. I mean, you know.
Well,
just
he didn't do it on purpose.
No, of course. Well,
Reese,
he was-
would you make the declaration in front of a whole audience of people? I would set myself on fire accidentally.
Well, I can't guarantee that I will or I won't. So,
You don't, you only say things if you really mean you could do it.
well, I do know that I have the ability to accidentally set myself on fire, but I don't want to do it.
He's such a great man.
What?
He's like a hero.
Me?
Reese is the best.
No, we're talking about Paul Rudd.
What?
Reese, stop being so focused on yourself.
I'm
in
not
this.
trying to be focused on myself.
Okay,
It's
Do you know that
so-
he thinks he's a hero?
I don't! I don't think I'm... Oh, I'm not going to talk anymore.
So you should talk because we are watching a great cinematic classic. So we're introduced to our main plethora of characters now. He is Paul Rudd.
Oh shit, I just remembered. When I pointed out that she's the main character, I said two things. The other thing is that, while I haven't seen Ghost, I've played a DS game called Ghost Trick, which does a very similar thing of at the very beginning, another character who is also a ghost teaches you how to, do things.
Yeah.
That's it. Go back, Ryan. Go.
So the whole plot of this movie, for people who are not in the know of Over Her Dead Body, is Eva Longoria dies on the day of her wedding and is stuck in the limbo land as a ghost, basically. Being not informed on what to do, she comes to the conclusion that her fiance, who has been alone for a year or two, has now begun to move on with a woman who's played by Lake Bell, who is a psychic. This psychic claims to be in contact with Eva Longoria's character, even though she is not, to make Paul Rudd feel better, then inadvertently falls in love with Paul Rudd, and then Eva Longoria can now be seen and heard by Lake Bell, and she starts to haunt her, basically, starts to chase her off, will haunt her for all of eternity if she does not leave her fiancé alone.
Yes, and with the relationship between the two leads, basically goes about that whole thing of it started because of one little lie, but then as it continued became a very real thing.
Like Shrek.
Yeah, I was actually going to compare it to the Guilt Trip, but that wasn't really a love story. You know how
No.
the trip
It's a
started.
road trip movie.
Have you seen the film, Ryan?
Ryan? Yeah.
Right. What?
Okay, good. Have you seen the film, Reese?
The Guilt Trip?
Yeah.
Seth Rogen,
I've
Barbra Streisand.
seen the trailer.
Well,
Okay, well, in the film, basically, Seth Rogen takes his mum on a road trip to help her find a lost love, but he, pretends that he really wants to spend time with her. And throughout all the film, they get really close, and then eventually he reveals the reason why he took her on the trip. And even though he, genuinely was having a great time with her, the whole conflict right then near the end was, oh, this all started because of a lie.
yeah. So, this movie has some amazing comedic actors. We have Paul Rudd here. Lindsay Sloane is quite amusing. And in the background, this woman here, the blonde woman, she is, I do believe she's the bride in the film Bridesmaids.
Oh, she's one of the bridesmaids.
Oh, she's one of the bridesmaids. And she's obviously known for her role in Reno 911 as the slutty cop.
She looked familiar, but
And she's in quite a bit.
yeah, I haven't seen Reno 911, but I've seen Bridesmaids.
Yeah, she's in that. And, there's a whole play. I think Lake Bell is quite amusing in this movie. I found her comedic delivery to be a saving grace of this movie. I think Paul Rudd and Lake Bell have a great chemistry in this movie. And I wish that we got to see more of the chemistry between Eva Longoria and Paul Rudd to kind of understand how they loved each other as a couple, because it's kind of not there for us to know. It's just we have to take it at face value.
Yeah, basically when she's alive, Paul Rudd's kind of a minor character, almost like in
Wedding Day.
Bride Wars.
Yeah, Bride Wars. Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
secondary male character, but now he's the main male character.
Yeah, once she dies, the husband, it's finally not her day anymore, so it's his day.
And
his day.
this film had a lot going on. Now, of course, our history with this movie, I can only speak for myself strongly. Never had seen it. Never had heard of it until I was searching for movies for this podcast. I saw this movie in the recommended section of IMDb when I was doing Bride Wars, and I said to myself, yeah, this looks interesting. I like Eva Longoria. I like Eva Longoria. I'm a big fan of the TV show Desperate Housewives. I watched it quite a lot when I was growing up, and I always liked Eva Longoria in that TV show. She was my personal favorite of the Desperate Housewives, so that really drew me to picking this and wanting to watch this for the show. And that's a great thing about some movies. You discover the weirdest or the best movies through a minor connection, whether it is a director or a writer or an actor you enjoy. You will watch the movie simply because of that, not necessarily because of the storyline or the premise or anything like that. You'll just dive in. You'll be like, I really like Paul Rudd, or I really like Lake Bell. Over Her Dead Body, I'll watch that.
I really like Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, and I have watched a lot of Brendan Fraser movies because I like him, and not all of them are great. Not all of them are furry vengeance, but some of them are bedazzled.
I did like Furry Vengeance a little bit. Because he does have great comedic timing, but it's just the films he's in. Ugh.
So, Bartek, what's your history with this film?
Pretty much the same as yours, except that I found out about it when you told me about it. And I remember one of the reasons why you wanted to re-song for this episode was one of the reasons why I was excited for this film.
Why?
This has a more feminine touch. Every episode that Rhys has been on has been a very masculine thing. We did Thunderbirds, and we did Meet Dave,
and Catch That Kid.
And Catch That Kid, like very Boise.
The rock film, Race to West Mountain.
Race to the Big Rock.
Yeah, they're very Boise films, and I thought...
Boise. That's a place.
And I felt like it was time for a more feminine touch. Bartek and I have been getting in touch with our feminine sides with the films, such as Bride Wars and... other chick-related flicks.
Bewitched, kind of.
Bewitched and, variant others. And I felt like it's time to see what Paul Rudd and Lake Bell can deliver. Rhys, what about you? Your history with this movie, any? Had you ever heard of it before?
Well, I know Eva Longoria Parker. I have seen about 20 seconds of Desperate Housewives, and it was pretty funny, but I never watched it again.
Why?
I don't know. I was into the show ER at the time, so I was pretty much... hitched.
What exactly is Desperate Housewives about?
It's
Desperate Housewives is a
show.
It's a comedy. The thing that I find interesting about Desperate Housewives is it was always advertised as like a this bitchy drama where these housewives and intrigue, but it was actually a comedy. I guess it was like how Sex and the City is actually a comedy, but it's always labeled as this like bitchy whatever. But Desperate Housewives is a comedy, I would say a comedy drama about the lives of these housewives on this one street who are all friends, and they all have family dramas going on. Like the main character, the narrator of the show is one of the housewives, and in the very first episode she commits suicide, and the first season is dedicated to the other housewives figuring out why their friend commits suicide, and it's like a big mystery. And it's that kind of TV show where each season a new neighbor or neighbors move in, and they're an antagonistic figure to some degree, but it's like why or how, whatever. So one season is dedicated to a pedophile lives down the road, but they don't know he's a pedophile. But it's still a comedy, but it's a drama. Talking about comedy and drama, this Woody Harrelson looking guy here on the mobile phone.
I went on Wikipedia, and guess who they said it was?
Woody Harrelson, I imagine.
Owen Wilson.
It's not.
It's not Owen Wilson. It's some random guy that looks like Owen Wilson. It's not even Owen Wilson.
It's Hansel. He's so hot right now. Oh, hi guys, I'm in the movie too. Wow. It's actually Luke Wilson in a blonde wig.
Is there a Luke Wilson impersonation that anyone can do?
Luke Wilson, yeah, he's Kelso's older brother. Yeah. So he's not like, oh wow. He's more like, oh wow.
Bit raspier, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit raspier because he's the older brother.
And he squints a bit more, whereas Owen Wilson's more wide-eyed.
Yeah, but he has more pouted lips. Like, he's like, oh, wow! And then, like, Luke Wilson's like, oh, wow. Yeah, so that's my Luke Wilson impersonation. But can anyone do a good Jason Biggs?
I'm not gay.
Not even Jason can. So several times in this movie, I wrote in my notes that, like, when we first meet Jason Biggs' character, Jason Biggs in this movie, for those who are unaware, is Lake Bell's best friend, a gay friend, and they run a catering company together, and he's not very good. The first time you see him, there's smoke coming out of an oven, and I said to myself, wow, he fucked that pie real hard. Because obviously he's from American Pie, in which he's famous for fucking a pie. And I wrote in my notes several times that he fucked several pieces of food, and what I got from his character is that he might have. I don't know. I mean, he had to take all that repressed sexuality out somewhere.
That's true. He doesn't do much sexual activity in this film. It's pretty restrained, if you know what I mean.
I mean, part of his character is that he doesn't get any.
Yeah.
Poor Jason
Poor
doesn't
Jason
get any.
Biggs.
He's such a loser. Get it? That's a movie he was in called Loser.
Oh yeah, it was also famous for having the song "Teenage Dirtbag" in that song.
Baby.
In that movie, Reese.
So.
What?
You said it had the song Teenage Dirtbag in that song.
Yes, Teenage Dirtbag.
I'm a teenage dirtbag baby. Okay, we can't afford the copyright to that song. Reese, don't sing on.
Oh, good
Well,
one, Ryan.
not only if we get 19 seconds of it, we can sing 19
I sang
seconds.
9 seconds. So
Ryan,
you
don't
can
you know about
sing
fair
10.
use?
Fair use.
You have to make it transformative.
So, this film has a lot going on. We all went in not knowing anything, basically. Like,
Yeah,
we didn't really know much about it. I just knew Eva Longoria is a ghost and she haunts. That's all I know.
I walked in pretty much blind.
Me too.
I was actually thinking it would have a bit more fantasy elements to it, but then it turned out just to be a romantic comedy with ghosts.
I think what I liked about it too was I have seen the film Ghost, and with romantic ghost movies, that's the one you go to. It's like if you ever have an adventure movie, you have to compare it to Indiana Jones, or if you ever have a horror movie set in space, it has to be compared to Alien. This genre of ghost rom-coms, which do exist.
No,
yeah.
I was laughing at the comparison to Alien, remembering Deep Rising, even though it's not set in space. It got compared to by Roger Ebert.
So, what I'm saying is, this can't help but be compared to Ghost. And I walked in and I went, oh, okay, because in Ghost, for those unaware, like Bartek, Patrick Swayze dies. He's not sure what his purpose is as a ghost, and he can only be seen and heard by Whoopi Goldberg, who's a psychic, but she's like a fake psychic. And you see this movie where it's like Eva Longoria is a ghost, and she doesn't know what her purpose is, and she can only be seen by a psychic. And it's like trying to fix their relationship and make sure the person's happy. Like, sure. But there's a difference between this and Ghost. I think what I like about this is Ghost, Patrick Swayze is a tragic character. You feel sorry that he's gone. You feel sorry that him and Demi Moore, who went on to star in Nothing But Trouble directly after Ghost, you feel sorry that they're no longer together. In this movie, you feel happy in a way that Eva Longoria is no longer with Paul Rudd, because Paul Rudd is in love with someone else. In Ghost, Demi Moore doesn't move on, really, after. That's the difference. This is a story about what happens if Ghost happened, but she was moving on, and instead it's he's moving on. How would the ghost handle that? I like the idea that, Eva Longoria is not too happy about that. And I don't think she's being too much of a bitch in this movie about being unhappy. Like, well, she died on her wedding day. How upset would you be,
I'm sympathetic to her, but I do think she's still being a bitch.
Do you?
Yeah.
But then again, she does learn her lesson.
But see, I think she's being a bitch reasonably.
Yeah.
If anything. But
you just said she's being a bitch. That's just my thing. I'm not angry at her, but she's being a bitch.
There's always some negative connotations to the word, to that being a bitch. I think she's being reasonable because Lake Bell, in her eyes, is a duplicitous, lying person.
Duplicitous?
Duplicitous.
What's duplicitous?
What do you mean?
What's duplicitous?
What do you
He's
think?
asking for the definition.
What's the definition of duplicitous?
What do you think it means?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Can I ask a question?
Bartek, you're the teacher. Teach him.
So, Epic Theatre was founded by Bertolt Brecht.
So, duplicitous, she's being two-faced. She's being...
She's been Harvey Dent.
Sure, she's Harvey Denting it. She's saying one thing, but she's the other. That kind of thing. So, in Eva Longoria's eyes, and to be honest, in the audience's eyes, it is a bit morally wrong of Lake Bell to be in any relationship with Paul Rudd under the circumstances. She's using personal information to win Paul Rudd over at the start, and then eventually that withers away. But the fact is that seed was planted with mistrust. And I think that's why I'm still on Eva Longoria's side till the end of the movie, if I'm 100% honest. There does come a point where you have to be like, yeah, Lake Bell, I agree. But this film is... Here's the thing I like it. This film is filled with people. The living are liars. Like, all terrible people, except for Paul Rudd.
and
like
the
his
dead-
sister, you know, Lake Bell and Gay Boy.
Yeah, the dead people aren't exactly that much better. I mean, who do we have? We've got the
Stephen Root and Eva Longoria.
the fat guy who, you know, not only was responsible for her death, but also was drink driving.
Can you just not call him the fat guy? That's Stephen Root. Did we not know Stephen Root?
No, I
Stephen
don't.
Root, King
He's
of the
one
Hill.
of the greatest actors on this planet. And I'm not joking. Like, he's in King of the Hill as Mr. Dotrieve.
Which one's Mr. Dotry?
The
bald
bold,
fat
the
guy.
bold,
The bald fat guy.
the
Bartek.
bold fat guy in the
Bill?
singlet. Yeah.
Bill, yeah.
Bill Dotrieve.
I don't know his last name. I just know Bill.
They always call him Dotrieve. And then he's also in so many great films like Office Space. You know, he's just one of those actors. So when you're just like, that fat guy, I'm like, how dare you? That is Stephen Root, one of
never
the
heard his
greatest
name, so-
actors of all time. He's in so much.
Look,
So
guys,
much.
don't worry. I know who Ali Hillis is.
Yeah, that's something I can't.
That's the one thing that redeems you, Bartek. You know
So
who Ali
Stephen
Hillis
Root,
is.
you're saying the drunk guy who
Yes.
killed her is the other dead person.
Yeah, and
then
Eva
Eva Longoria,
Longoria,
who's not well lit in this sequence, man.
her modus operandi.
What's that mean, Bartek?
Yes, what does that mean, Bartek?
Bertolt Brecht founded Epic Theatre in 19... No, he didn't. The scene later on where she's annoying Lake Bell,
Yeah.
and I realize what she's trying to do. You know, she doesn't need to sleep. She has the whole power to
Yeah.
and time, I guess, to do that. But
Haunt her, yeah.
I just don't think it really does her character many favors.
But I think it shows the ineptitude of her character. She doesn't even know how to haunt this woman correctly. What does she do? She keeps up all night by talking about her pets. Like, she could, which we've seen with her powers, truly make Lake Bell go insane within a matter of hours. Like, she can throw her voice. She can, she can interfere with objects. She can play around with sound and visual. She could do so much. Like, she could even appear as not even as herself, I reckon. Eva Longoria, I reckon she could manipulate, if she learned how, to appear as other things, you know, rather than just herself. So I feel like
She's interesting,
and she
for
could just
sure.
murder her if she really wanted.
Well, she's,
Maybe.
Easily.
she's not that much
Easily.
of an antagonist.
No,
though.
but that's what I mean. I don't know. It's just, I feel like I need to defend Eva because I feel like I'm her in this situation.
Yeah, you feel the need to defend her, but I'm just sitting here like, we don't have to, you don't have to defend her.
I just
you
feel
know?
like Lake Bell is the true terrible person
But
in this
no,
movie.
No, but she's
No, look, what I'm feeling here is that you're so strong on defending Eva Longoria that you're like going around in a
Oh.
circle to antagonizing another character when you don't really have to.
I figured it out.
What?
I figured it out.
What?
I figured it out.
What?
Yeah, well, we never know. So,
What? No,
I think the
oh.
real antagonist is Dan.
No, hold on. What, Reese?
Ryan, our dear host Ryan,
I can't hear you. What are you saying? Ryan, dear host.
has a
Ryan?
crush on Eva Longoria.
No, to be honest, she wasn't the hottest of the Desperate Housewives. I thought the redhead was more my crush in Desperate Housewives. That's like my
Well,
comparison.
Ryan, fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah, well, she would be the Mary, I guess, because I really want to fuck the redhead.
She is
in
a
Desperate
housewife,
Housewives.
so,
And then I would kill Terry Hatcher because she was my least favorite housewife. Yeah, even though she is the most attractive of the housewives, but she wasn't the one I was attracted to. She's good Lois Lane though, Terry Hatcher. But
Margot Kidder.
What?
Margot Kidder.
Yeah. Well, I said good. I didn't say great.
Oh, okay.
It's like if I stood here right now and said Amy Adams, best Lois Lane.
Oh, God.
She's a Lois Lane. But I don't know. I don't think it's not that I have a crush on Eva Longoria. I don't really think. I just really connected to her character more than any of the others. Like her and Paul Rudd, I connected to, and not as them as a couple. I think what makes this film unappreciated is it walks that gray line of the moral values that you can bend in making a relationship. Like, when it comes to relationships, people lie, people manipulate, people do that stuff to get a relationship, to maintain a relationship. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I'm in a relationship, and there's things that you embellish. There's things that you say or do differently to maintain or get a relationship. And I know films have to embellish the real life ways of relationships to make it more accessible, but I just found that the thing that really dragged me through this movie is the fact that she used her diary to win Paul Rudd to begin with. I felt like this movie could have stood on its own 2 feet if she actually just communicated with Kate from the start, or heard her voice and stuff, or at least actually had some psychic abilities to pick up the personality of this woman, her history, rather than to lie. Because I'm not a fan of the liar revealed trope in films. I hate it.
Yeah, like Guilt Trip, that was kind of like, yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah.
And I felt like this movie, it did work. It did work, but I think that's
It's
the thing
still
that
the
really
thing.
pushes it into the obscure realm of film. I think it's just too morally duplicitous as a film.
What I don't like about it in this film is that it wasn't usually the lie revealed thing. Kind of is a thing that the lie starts off because you want to gain something from it. In this film, it was a favor.
Yeah.
So it's not like she wanted to be in a relationship with it. It just ended up happening that way.
Yeah, and I guess I do find that refreshing as well. I think that is less salt in the wound, but it still leaves something.
The pickle taste. To go
The
back to
pickle
it, yeah.
taste. Because
The meat in the
that's
vegan
why I'm
food.
defending Eva Longoria, because I find her to be the one of the higher moral value out of our 2 main women in this film.
Which
You know,
which I can respect because, it's like that id thing. She's doing what she feels, like her emotions.
The
want her to.
iceberg has turned
What
upside down, basically.
What I'm just kind of weirded out about is that you choose to antagonize someone else instead. Like, you really need to antagonize someone.
well, it's because I watched this film. I'm not a big rom-com guy. I'm not a big chick flick guy. And I think what's happened is we've watched chick flicks in the past on this show, and I've empathized with these women, with these people, with these characters. Like, we did Bride Wars, both of which they were both terrible people on levels, but they overcame that. And what I felt happened in this movie was I didn't feel like Lake Bell overcame that too much. It was more like Eva Longoria just decided that she should change her mind. Like that. Like, oh, well, now that my dead ghost wife says it's okay, I guess it's fine. Like, that kind of thing. It felt like that to me. And I guess that's what I don't like about Lake Bell. I didn't feel like she solved the situation on her own like she should have. A movie like this should have ended with Lake Bell pursuing Paul Rudd, not the other way round.
I guess, but it was kind of her making up for what she did in the first place, which was to break them up.
I reckon it's realistic that she doesn't do it properly. Like, if she needs help to sort of get to Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Ryan, what's with this movie magic stuff? This is real life.
She doesn't need to be perfect. I mean,
But
she has flaws.
I know, but I think the
Well,
movie.
how else will she
I
walk?
think what would have made me swallow this more would have been, instead of Paul Rudd pursuing.
Flaws.
I'm not whispering to you, Reese, anymore.
Oh,
I would have liked it better if Lake Bell solved the terrible situation which she created, instead of Eva Longoria getting Paul Rudd to solve it, to get over it, to chase her to the airport. I think it would have been better if Eva Longoria got Lake Bell to overcome whatever and actually do it. That's just me,
Because Lake Bell's more the main character. So
Yeah, exactly. And I am antagonizing Lake Bell. I like her. I think she's comedic. I think her character's great. I just think it's the writing device of doing the liar revealed thing that makes me want to antagonize her, because if we remove the liar reveal, it would have actually been a better story. And I think it makes her character more despicable than I think the writers intended.
But the whole idea of the protagonist is that they're standing in the way of the protagonist. So by that, you would be saying that Eva Longoria is the protagonist, but she isn't in the film
Enough,
I don't
But
think.
yeah, exactly. But there's that thing of having a protagonist that isn't a good person.
Yeah, like a villain antagonist or anti-heroes and stuff.
Anti-hero or and that's what I'm saying. Look, this film is an unappreciated masterpiece. I think the writing is top notch. I know I'm doing a lot of complaining. I'm doing a lot of antagonizing.
It's thinking.
This is what I'm thinking about, and I like Lake Bell. I think she really is great in this movie. But there are times in which you can have, you could say poorly written or misguided, but you can have leading protagonists that are bad people, and they aren't.
Protagonist doesn't mean good, and antagonist doesn't mean bad.
Exactly. There's one's trying to progress to something, and the other's stopping that person. That's the relationship, and she's not.
But the one we follow is the protagonist.
Yeah, exactly. And Lake Bell isn't an anti-hero. I'm not saying that. She's just not a good person, and I think this film needed a good person, or at least for me, that's why I relate to Eva Longoria far more, because I felt like Eva Longoria is a good person, like in regards to
we keep bringing good and bad into it, but I think they're just normal people really that are just thrust into something really big.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're also watching a movie at the same time, so I have to. And it's also a movie where ghosts exist. So I have to say that Lake Bell is a terrible individual, and that's for me what makes this an unappreciated masterpiece. There comes a line in which, in a comedy, you can only have your main character be so terrible. Like a great comedy in which you have a main character who does write a terrible line is Meet the Parents. Ben Stiller in that movie is a terrible individual, but he's also a good person because the antagonist is more of a terrible person. But the problem here is our so-called antagonistic figure, which is Eva Longoria, is too nice of a person, or at least too tragic of a person.
Tragic, I give you.
I wouldn't say tragic.
She died on her wedding day.
Yeah, but it was sort of like, she's being a little bit over the top.
Could I just say, with the whole idea of tragedy, it's kind of like an inevitable conclusion. I think what Ryan means when he says tragic is that because she was so, stressed and pedantic and running everywhere, and because she wanted perfection, she didn't want the not fat guy, Steve Root was his name?
Stephen Root.
She didn't want Stephen Root Bill to run over her flowers, so she went as far as to run right behind the car, and that ended up, being her death because of how she was. That's why it was a tragic death.
The Flight of Icarus.
And I think the thing, too, is the real antagonistic figure in all of this is Stephen Root. He's a terrible person, and he just gets to go to heaven because he told her what to do. The angel should have done that, and that's like his redemption is, you have to do this. All right, I'm up to heaven. He didn't even say that he was sorry about killing her or anything. Like, he never really felt like, and I love Stephen Root, and I saw his name in the title. I'm like, oh, yay! And he was doing a weird Christopher Walken accent for this movie. I don't know why. And I felt like this movie was too short. I'm giving a lot of harsh things towards this, but that's because I love it so much. I want more from it, and that's why it is an unappreciated masterpiece, because it just falls that little bit short of being a recognized masterpiece. And I think that's it. If this movie was, say, 20 minutes longer, and you had more of Stephen Root with him having a redemption arc, a mini story in the background, it would make it more.
He's got like 3 appearances in this film.
Yeah, and one of them is where he kills her. One of them is where he's a ghost, but he seems drunk.
Yeah.
And then the other is him getting redemption just because he told her what to do, which is the angel's job.
Because his mission was easy,
Yeah.
I think that's my problem. I think Eva Longoria is a tragic figure because she doesn't really get a resolution that I think she should get. Like, she does. It's very sad when she gets her resolution, but at the same time, here's something I want to pitch to you about this. The end of the movie, Eva Longoria lets them get together. She's there at the wedding day. She's very upset watching it. And she walks out. And she kind of smiles, kind of doesn't. And then she disappears to heaven.
Also, we think.
Let's just leave it there. I want to talk about that end cutscene, which I think really detracts from the film.
It was a good game.
But she goes to heaven. And the thing I want to say to you is, did you think she was happy?
I think it was that thing.
I don't think she was personally happy. I think she was happy for Henry, but not herself. I think she was like, maybe I can still get with him, but that's not going to happen because I'm dead. So
Yeah.
I'm just got to be happy for Henry. That's
That
how
was more or less what I was going to say. My beloved is happy. That's my motivation.
Yeah,
but
and-
I'm personally, I wish it could be different.
And that's what I think
Which tragedy
makes me feel for Eva Longoria more than the stuff that Lake Bell goes through. When Lake Bell does these things, I love Lake Bell in this movie, but it's just Eva Longoria. There's something to it where you make that comparison to Ghost. In Ghost, he doesn't get with his girl, but they both end happily. Like, he's happy that and he is happy. Not that he is happy for her, but he himself is happy that he solved this. He himself is this. And I felt like Eva Longoria's character might have needed that. And that's why I feel for her so much, because she didn't get that resolution. She didn't even get a real apology or a form of guilt from Stephen Root. And then this woman here is using really morally duplicitous way to engage with Paul Rudd. So that's why I'm like, yeah, damn straight you should haunt this bitch. She's she is using certain things to get at your fiance. I know that you're dead and all, but like, this woman is probably not the best person for him, to be honest.
I will definitely say that at the end of the movie, you mentioned that a lot of the criticism for Eva Longoria is that she's bitchy and all that, right? Definitely at the end of the movie, she drops all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't
Yeah,
really
attitude,
complain
yeah.
about her there. She definitely does change at the end.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I really feel like I had to dig deep into the negatives there for me. I think these are the things that... And I think the thing, too, is with Eva Longoria, to chat about her, she's a TV actress. Mm-hmm. She's a TV actress.
That might be why I'm not too familiar with her.
And she has something that I like to call the Friends syndrome, in which she was in a TV show, Desperate Housewives for her, and Jennifer Aniston was in the TV show Friends.
Yes.
And the thing about both of them is, they're both actresses that have done films during their TV shows and after, and they still don't seem right when you see them in a movie. Like, there's something that disconnects when you see Eva Longoria and Jennifer Aniston in a film, and that applies with most of the cast of Friends, where you see Joey in Lost in Space, and you're like, why? You're a
Top
TV
Gear.
actor. You're a TV actor. But no, that's what I'm saying. When you see him in films, and there's that thing where Eva Longoria, where I think a lot of people came into this with that negative criticism, where they're like, but they know Eva Longoria, but she's a TV actress in a film, and it seems kind of weird. And it can be like that, too, in the reverse, where Brad Pitt appears in Friends, and it's kind of like, oh, it's cool that you're in this, but you're a movie actor. Why are you in this?
Yeah. I remember a few years ago when Neil Patrick Harris was hosting the Oscars. I was the one that told my mum about it, and she was like, what? But he's a TV actor. What's he doing there?
Exactly, and I think
he's-
that's the Friends
he's-
syndrome.
He's also done Broadway stuff, so it's kind of odd you put him in like a film situation.
I mean, he was in my favorite war movie of all time, Starship Troopers. So he's a film actor. And he was in my favorite buddy movie of all time, Harold and Kumar. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Smurfs with Smurfs 2 with Brendan Gleeson. This actor here,
Ah, yes.
do we know who he is by any chance?
No, but I do know he
He
does
looks
a very
familiar.
stereotypical Irish priest.
Well,
Oh, and
this
Rhys
actor
McKenzie.
here is famous. He's a very prolific actor. He's a father of an actor who appears in the TV show Supernatural.
Jared Piccadilly.
Mark Sheppard.
Oh, who?
Mark Sheppard.
Who?
He plays one of the demons. The main demon that they have.
Never mind. Gone.
And he's also in Firefly and stuff like that. He's in everything.
Okay.
And he's in X-Files. And this is his father. And I've seen him in lots of stuff, mainly sci-fi. And it was really nice to see him in this movie. I was like, oh, he's still around. And
He's got a good presence.
and that voice. It's the voice. And you know what I liked about him? He was nice. He usually plays antagonistic figures, but it's really nice to see also that she's a proud Catholic girl, and it's not like a big deal. Like, she doesn't go to church, but she's still a Catholic girl deep down, even though she's psychic. And I find it great that him as a representation of the Catholic Church isn't doing the typical You're psychic. Get out.
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy. Blah, blah, blah.
He's progressive.
But he's progressive, and he's like, yeah, sure, I'll help you do this exorcism. Like, he doesn't question it. Like, he does by just saying, attend church. And that's about it. But I really enjoyed having them actually try to exorcise her as well. It was kind of neat to see.
Yeah.
So, Bartek, there's a lot of things that happen in this movie. You know, there's exorcisms, there's gay reveals. Because also, I will be no. Because I was sitting here going, "Oh, Jason Biggs is her boyfriend." Oh, okay. And then she's like,
scene.
and then for the first few scenes, and then she's like, "It's great to have a gay friend." I'm like, "Oh, he's gay."
Actually, yes, that
Yeah,
happened to me.
that happened to me
So
too.
it was a
I was like,
gay
oh,
reveal.
He's
I was like,
gay.
oh, this is a wacky couple.
And then gay reveal, and then dun 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 straight reveal. It was a twist and a turn, to say the least.
Well, I mean, if you twist something, you could probably straighten it again.
No, not always.
Not always. It might still.
I said
sort of-
probably.
And then, you know, I think there's a lot of things going on. What was some of the major twists and turns that really took you for a loop, Bartek?
I think the straight reveal.
Thanks, Bartek. Rhys, what were some of the twists and turns that took you for a loop?
I think one of the... Thanks, Reese. Bartek, what was one of the things that took you for a loop?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no, okay.
I agree.
No, okay, let's be serious. Bartek, what did take you for a loop? What did surprise you, or twist that you didn't see coming in this?
Twist that I didn't see coming? You know what? Probably nothing too major. I suppose how quick they were to date other people after they were,
Yeah.
broken apart. That's might be the only thing. I mean, I was really more along for the ride of, like, the comedy. So when they, started dating other people, I'm like, oh, that's a bit fast. Can we go back to, like, wacky things? Like, there was that funny scene where Paul Rudd was walking with that one girl, making his old, cat owner jokes. They're crazy. And
Yeah,
she
they
wasn't
are.
into
They
it.
are crazy.
Well, we're not crazy.
We're not crazy.
Yeah, Ryan.
We're not crazy.
I hate cats.
Why do you hate cats?
Cause they suck.
Wait,
What
Ryan.
do you mean they
Oh,
suck?
Reese, let's give him the test.
All right, go for it.
Meow, 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 meow.
Detective Mittens, you're on the case.
He might like cats, Reese. He might be lying.
I thought I would have seen you as a cat person, Ryan. I think you would have. I think
Reese,
I'm a literal dog man.
Reese,
Half
give-
man, half dog.
Reese, give him the second test question.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Cats do suck, I agree.
What's your analysis on that, Reese?
I was simply saying to Ryan that he needs to discombobulate this sort of attitude towards cats.
And I did.
Discombobulate?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Duplicitous discombobulator?
Wait, no, discombobulate means disconnect, doesn't it?
No.
Something like that.
Oh,
So, this Eva Longoria character had dogs as well, so that's why I connect with her.
because she had
Her
dogs.
last one was called Buffy, as in the Vampire Slayer.
As in the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, we have the wrong guest.
We should have got Buffy? You're right.
We should have gotten Sam again.
We should have got Sarah Michelle Gellar to review this movie with us. So, the twists and turns, not too many for Bartek, You were shocked by the straight reveal, as was I, and the gay reveal.
I was too, yeah, both
yeah.
surprised me.
And
And one of them wasn't even meant to be a reveal.
Yeah, that's true.
I was very surprised by how the use of the bird came into play several times. Like,
I was surprised the bird could speak that much.
you know what they say, you introduce a bird in the first act, you've got to have him used in the third act. It's Chekhov's bird.
Hold on, did the bird have a name?
Not that I've seen
No,
yet.
I think it was
Okay.
the bird. That was his name. The bird.
Yeah, not that it's a big deal or anything, but before the episode started, we were confused about that.
I thought he had a name for some reason. I thought he was like named Bird, but
At one point, you thought it was Dan, but then that's Jason Biggs' character, I think.
he looks like a human bird, doesn't he? Nah, I'm kidding. That's
the bird doesn't
Lake
look
Bell.
like Dan.
I remember I looked up his Wikipedia page, and it said that even though he's not
The bird has
Jewish,
a
he
wiki-
keeps getting cast as Jewish people.
The
He's
bird-
not Jewish.
No, he's not Jewish.
Oh.
Wait. Was it some Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Oh, he looked on Wikipedia and it said that they had Owen Wilson in this movie. So I don't think. Fun fact: Wikipedia is not the most
Wait.
reliable source of
Wait,
information.
I thought Reese said IMDb.
No, I said on Wikipedia.
Oh, bullshit.
Bullshit.
Wait.
I mean,
nah.
to be fair,
Hi, Henry.
To be fair, I mean, either way, even IMDb was wrong about the tuxedo.
Yeah, it said it had Bill
was
Murray in it, but it was actually Colin Mockery. Yeah, so...
How could you get something so wrong?
Because they look so similar.
No, they don't.
You haven't seen them then.
I
So, back to
have.
this film.
Oh.
Over Her Dead Body came out in 2008. That was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was before Final Fantasy 13.
it's before.
Ah, so this was the role that got that
Yeah.
woman the role in Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, it was like a year or two later.
Was Final Fantasy 13 a good game?
It's very polarizing, controversial. Some people liked it. I think most Final Fantasy fans did not like it. I liked it. It got 2 sequels, and I like them too.
Well, Final Fantasy is not my style game. I'm not into the JRPGs. They're all too much.
It's okay, Ryan. Back in our Agent Cody Banks 2 episode, we made a joke about Keith David being good at Final Fantasy 3. That made me smile.
Why'd you make that joke?
Because it's not a joke. It was just a true statement. So,
The
Now-
veteran actor Keith David being a good.
Rhys, you've
Yes.
had seeds in the eye before.
I've had, what?
So, yeah.
Go on, yes.
If you put a seed in a human's eye, will it grow?
No, it will not. Unless you're in a Terrence Malick.
But
film.
isn't it watered?
What?
Well, the seed, isn't it got plenty of water?
You mean the eye has plenty of water?
Yeah, exactly. But the seed would have
Yeah, but the seed
would be watered.
The seed would not grow unless it's a Terrence Malick film.
No, I'm being real here. Stop using your artsy film references.
But Terrence Malick is not artsy. He's a bit of himself, I think.
Did you know that there is apparently a difference between artsy and
Spat out my
artist?
water!
That's why we call you spin
What?
polish.
What did I say?
There's no difference between being artsy and being up yourself.
I just like, how judgmental you were. Like, he's up in
No, look, I watched Tree of Life at like 11
Which,
o'clock at
wait,
night.
wait. Are you telling me the Tree of Life is not an artsy movie?
It is
Are
an-
you in a different universe
It is an
to where we
artsy-
are?
it's an artsy
Hello,
film,
hello, different universe, Reese. In your universe, did Hitler win by any chance?
No,
and you made
no,
sure that
no.
Terrence Malick didn't create
No.
artsy
No
movies?
win Hitler, nay.
I'm simply saying that I've
No,
heard story-
Hitler is not a winner.
I'm simply saying that Terrence Malick has had a reputation for being a little bit too,
That's it. I'm annoyed at you already.
What? What did I?
Yeah, I
It's
know he's
true.
up himself,
It's
but
true.
he's artsy. It's like saying, David Lynch. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not an artsy director in any way.
He's a
prolific.
very generous person, David Lynch.
I think what Reese is saying is that if he had to assign an adjective to Terrence Malick, he would rather put something along the lines of up himself rather
Like,
than
he would rather
artsy.
put several words instead of just one clear defining word that, like, pretentious would be a
Cons.
good one. And they all fall under artsy.
They don't really fall under artsy. You could be artsy and be a generous person like David Lynch.
I mean, look,
Wait, are
He's
you
not-
telling me that Terrence Malick is not a generous? What do you mean by that? He made a fucking film that people love, at least.
loved.
People love Tree of Life.
Are you serious?
Just because you didn't love it doesn't mean that it's not generous to someone else.
No, this is kind of familiar because I didn't like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
And that's one of the best films of all time.
Hideo Kojima, it's one of his favorites.
I just
Steven Spielberg, one of his favorites.
don't get it.
Scorsese loves. It's because you're not a generous person.
I am a generous person. Like,
So talking about generosity, I was going to say something earlier that Reese interrupted, which was if you plant a seed in someone's eye,
Yeah.
the eye will have enough water to keep that seed hydrated, and the sun would be hitting your eye.
Mm-hmm. And the
Thus-
soil would put it in place, yes.
You can grow things from human flesh.
Flesh, Ryan?
Yeah.
Does the eyeball count as flesh?
no, not really.
Organic matter. Sorry. Let's be pedantic. Artsy. He's more up himself. You're right.
Okay.
So,
It is pretty artsy.
so
having
you
a
know what I
seed in
mean?
the eye.
Like, I think you could grow something from the human eye. Like a seed.
I think Ryan's a bit up himself right now.
No, I
Reese.
never said Ryan was up himself.
I think he's being more artsy, if anything.
I was making a joke at Ryan. Why are you getting offended?
Excuse me, this is not a comedy podcast. This is a serious film discussion podcast. And we're missing the emotional moment in which she's shown to be clearly schizophrenic.
Reese, let's make fart noises.
Hey! This film is above that it only does it for 5 minutes, and it does all the farts that were used in Thunderpants in 5 minutes, okay?
Thunderpants used the fart noises better than it did for this scene.
Excuse me, I know that, but this film, unlike Thunderpants, which was an hour and a half long fart movie, this film got that entire movie of farts and compressed it into 5 minutes, making it efficient.
How many was Thunderpants? 30 or 50?
It was 55.
50. 55? Right.
And this probably has 105 farts.
All in this one sequence.
That's exactly right. She looks like she's ready to be a butch lesbian mounter.
What?
Like a mountain lady who's really butch lesbian.
No, she kind of looks more like a Swedish woman, Swedish mountain woman.
All right, do you always have to contradict what I have to say?
No, I was just thinking.
Like, I'll be like this. Hey, right, hey, Bartek, that's Lake Bell. Actually, that's more Bell Lake, if anything. You know, you can be in that.
Well, no, I'm just saying she looks like she's about to, chop wood.
She looks like, like...
That's what I just said. She's going to go up to the mountain and chop some wood.
I don't know why you guys are getting this whole, chopping wood thing. I just think she looks like, mountain girl. She's sing a little song.
Mountain girl.
Yeah, but,
the way she has her hair.
Not the butch thing. She's like a milkmaid, or, she's gonna go up and sing about trees or something.
Milkmaid? Where'd that come from?
What are you on about, Rhys?
No, what? I can't say it.
Milfmaid.
Milkmaid!
Look it up, Rhys. It's a thing.
You know, Milkmaid.
I'm not fucking around. Milkmaid.
He's not playing your trumpet here. It's real.
I will look it up
It's
later.
just breakfast.
My phone is turned off.
So...
I mean, we have to give him that. His phone is turned off. Also, the film's muted for us, but I think we're in the fart bit.
Yeah, she's still in the room.
I didn't get the farting. I was just like, what's going on? Why are there
I like how
noises?
Lake Bell is smart enough not to figure out that it's clearly Eva Longoria, the woman who's haunting her.
Hold on. Rhys, did you say you're confused by it?
Yeah, because there was just farting noises, and I just didn't get what was going on. Why were there
She
farting?
thought Paul Rudd was farting.
Yeah, but
a lot,
it didn't explain why there were farting.
I guess
noises.
that is a conveyance thing. Is Paul Rudd being, casual, or is he? I mean, obviously, I was like Ryan. I thought it was Eva Longoria.
I knew it was Eva Longoria.
I did too, but I mean,
I just couldn't figure out why Lake Bell couldn't figure that out.
We just didn't have that whole 100% conveyance thing. I guess is the thing. Which that's a disconnect about films. You don't have all the senses.
I could taste this one though.
With the way she was behaving, could she smell it as well? We don't know.
No, she was just like, alrighty. But yet again, we don't know how much Eva Longoria's powers communicate across. She can play with visuals, we've seen, and she didn't even know that she could. And she can play with, audio stuff, making herself sound like she's on a microphone, making herself sound like she's several feet away, making sounds of other things, like knockings and all that. So it's kind of like, can she also affect smell and taste and touch?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Because she can't interphysically touch people, but could she make them feel a breeze? Well, and the answer is yes, because she strokes Paul Rudd's face and he kind of feels it, So it's kind of like, woo, yeah. So she could have, seriously fucked up Lake Bell.
And with the criticisms one might have about Eva Longoria being, annoying in certain scenes, obviously trying to get under Lake Bell's skin.
Not literally.
Not literally. We don't know if the possession of people.
Yeah, I really thought that was going to actually play into it at one point. I thought, oh, she's just going to walk into it and possess Lake Bell to be an idiot.
Yeah, but this film is a brave film because the thing about... It is, Rhys. The thing about... I'm glad that cleared it up. The thing about this film is that, or actually in general, is if you do something annoying, make a lot of noise, even if it's ironic and meant to be targeted at other people, the fact still remains that it is annoying. So this film is asking a lot of its audience to, hey guys, we know this is annoying, we're annoying her, it might actually annoy you too. You're obviously not trying to have romantic clothes on kissing with people in beds right now. You're watching a film.
No, if it's a chick flick and you're watching it at home on your laptop and you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or respective partner, this film will get you laid.
True, but this film was theatrically released, so we can't say that was fully the intention.
Hey, people have sex in cinemas.
True, but that's not part of the rules.
Nah,
No, that's why you break the rules.
You don't have sex.
Ryan, the film.
Oh, Rhys, You don't have sex in the cinema.
No, it's
That's
just-
an
it's just
official
the film-
guideline. Don't
It's
have
been
sex.
indecent.
When the stuff in the
Hey!
film itself can...
Pee Wee Herman himself
He masturbated. Leave him alone. It was a
gave
porn theater.
self-love.
Yeah, but that was a porn cinema, wasn't it?
Maybe, but
It
it's still a
was.
cinema.
Look, what I'm saying here is that the film can break rules, but it assumes that its audience are following its audience rules. When the audience breaks the rules, like for example with me being on the laptop chatting to my friend while watching it, you know, I'll admit that wasn't the greatest thing I could do, but it's a rule that the film doesn't want to be broken. It expects of me to watch it.
Yeah, and you
And I didn't miss anything. I'll say that, but you know, there are certain rules that the film expects of you. It's like, remember, Rhys, when we watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles at our friend Miguel's house?
I love that
A
film.
certain friend of ours would not shut up during the whole
Yeah.
film. He kept commenting on the dumbest things, and then eventually, late in the film, he was silent for a second. Like, you know what? I actually kind of like this film.
Yeah, I hate people like that.
Yeah.
And that's what this film's audience had. People like that. This film's audience at the time were people like, why is Paul Rudd in this and not in, like, you know, the next Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow movie, man? Like, why is he doing some really good acting instead of just being a douche?
Like, well, he's not really a douche in this film. He's kind of like the
No, I
straight-
said in this he's doing good acting
Yeah.
instead of being a douche in a Judd Apatow movie.
Well, he doesn't really play a douche in a Judd Apatow.
Oh, okay, so 40-year-old virgin, he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he tried to get the guy laid. He was trying to do him a favor.
Yeah, he was a douche. And then,
Oh,
yeah,
no,
sure, like, yeah, man, you know, like...
It explains so much, Rhys. Ryan never tries to get people laid.
Yeah, and I'm a good guy.
Well,
I don't want to get you two guys laid. If you're gonna do it right here on the table,
Well-
we could.
Well,
still
apparently
have-
you can do it in a theater. Why not in this lounge
it's a
room?
good table, Ryan. I don't.
Well,
wanna
this
get
is
it.
being recorded. Innocent children might be able to hear this, even though it's got the illicit content warning on it. But like, they might
It's
be.
okay. I mentioned that it was clothes on kissing on a bed.
All right, well, that's fine. I thought, but you don't know what Rhys is gonna get up to. He
Yeah,
might
but-
get handsy.
This table.
He
is a
might
good
whip something
table.
out.
It's a good table. I'm not going to touch it.
5 stars. 5-star
What?
table. 5-star table.
So if you
Out
had
of
to give
10.
it a rating,
No, out of 5.
Oh, it's a 5 out of 5 table.
Wait, what's him? Why are you questioning?
all right.
everything
Let's
I
start.
say?
Let's start again, Rhys. If you had to give it a rating, what would you give it?
The table,
Yes.
A rating of your choice.
4 out of 5.
Well, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
That's a good score.
It's pretty low.
It's a pretty good score.
It's very low.
Bartek, is
Out
that
of
not
10?
Wait, I thought this was out of 5.
Oh, so it is out of 5.
Yes.
Oh, I was using my common sense and saying it was 10, even though you said 4 out of 5.
I'm broke.
No, you're
I mean,
rich because you're watching
look, if
this
we
movie over her dead body.
Ryan, if we scaled it up to like 4 billion out of 5 billion, that's still a whole billion.
Well,
plus
that's
gone.
right. So, you know, that's pretty good.
Make it 4 billion and 1, Rhys.
Okay, 4 billion.1 out of 5
No,
billion.
no. 4 billion and 1.
4 billion and 1 out of 5 billion.
Yes.
So, that's pretty low.
That's not out of 5 billion.
That's pretty low out of 10 billion.
That's still far. That's, you know, still 19.
Oh, wait, guys. Straight reveal just
Oh,
happened.
yes.
Now,
What?
I'm going
She's standing up
Oh, yeah.
straight.
I've been saving this. I've mentioned it briefly, but
Okay.
Jason Biggs is straight in this movie, and he's pretended to be gay for 5 years. Could you ever forgive someone like that?
I'm just like, I'm surprised he put it up for 5 years. and
Yeah,
not broke.
well, he clearly had to break at some point, but he did it in the
But
privacy of his
after
own,
5
in the privacy
years-
of his own porno cinema. He jerked one off.
Like, I just don't understand. 5 years and he hasn't like broken. Like, you know, he hasn't
It's-
like said to himself, "I've had enough. I've got to tell her that
Reese,
I'm
it's
straight."
because he has strong will. He would be a great Green Lantern.
He had.
Jason Biggs, the next Green Lantern.
Please.
Even earlier when Lake Bell was asking him if her ass looked big, you know, he made a funny, you know, remark.
And he didn't even look at it.
No, I think he did, but he made like just a funny remark, like, "Oh, I've still got this peripheral vision." I thought that was one of the things I laughed at.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how to feel about the straight reveal. It's another layer on the duplicitous nature that this film has about its characters.
On the other hand, though, you could argue that, you know, he's not a very strong character in the... What's the word I'm looking for? In the sense of...
What? Story?
He doesn't feel like he's that... confident of a character, so I guess
he was confident
felt...
enough to keep up a persona for 5 years.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
That's a strong thing, and also, he's her best friend, so it's pretty bad.
True, but she did kind of trigger it, I guess.
Yeah, but he could have just, not followed. You know what I mean by that?
Not followed? Like...
Well, he made the choice to be gay, pretend to be gay. She didn't, you know what I mean? She just assumed he was gay.
But
he
she
could
never
have
picked
spoken
up
up about it.
She didn't pick up on some things. Maybe he would have been looking at her.
He's fit.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He's pretty good. He's not as Jason Biggs as you would like, but he's pretty good.
Would she have been... Well, when I say interested, I mean in a friend sense. Would she have been interested in him in any way if he wasn't gay?
I think
if she wasn't under the impression.
Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? We live in the universe in which he lied, and it's unfortunate.
She does make that statement, I just wanted a gay friend.
I just wanted to cry on my gay friend. It's like, well,
yeah.
you don't necessarily have to cry on your gay friend. You can cry to your
You sure you want to
go? A shrink is a person you go to, Bartek, and you tell your problems to. It doesn't necessarily have to be your
Why
go-to
can't she
gay
just
friend.
go to her Catholic priest?
Yeah, why not, Bartek? Yeah. There
Her
are
old
multiple other
man's
people.
Catholic priest that she could cry on in
On the way
confessional.
here, Rhys, we talked about this scene, and Rhys mentioned the whole thing. He said psychologist. Cuddle, and I was just thinking, cuddle up to your psychologist.
I didn't mention to cuddle up to your psychologist. That's like another rom-com idea, basically.
Yeah, that's called Hannibal Lecter.
I was just stuck.
Lover, father, brother.
Eater.
See, you jumped to Hannibal Lecter. I was jumping to the room psychologist. I'm like,
Yeah, I was playing
Imagining-
psychologist with us.
yeah, Peter. I was just imagining, cuddling up to that man.
I would. Now, see, here's another thing in which we have another character that we haven't talked about much, the sister. She's also a terrible individual. She steals cats. She steals
Well, it's
private
stray.
diaries. What?
It's a stray cat. So
No,
it's
it
not...
isn't. Did you not watch the film?
It's a stray cat.
It's her neighbor's cat.
Rhys, it's wearing a collar.
It's her neighbor's cat. Watch the scene and watch how you realize she stole her neighbor's cat.
She said it then. Okay.
Your neighbor let you borrow it? No, you stole it. Oh my god, Rhys, did you actually finish this movie?
I did. It's just that.
So, Rhys,
My
are you
brain-
feeling less bored by the movie now?
Yes.
Is it engaging you
Yes.
physically, mentally, psychically, spiritually?
That cat has a leash on
Sexually?
it. You should never put a leash on a cat.
Why? But she doesn't. She just carries it around.
Yeah, but you don't need to have a
Wait,
leash
does it
for
have
a
a...
cat.
It just has a collar.
Well, I just saw more like.
Oh, it does
Yeah,
have a leash.
It does have a leash. I don't know why.
I like
you
how
think-
she flipped out. Cats always land on their feet, lady. Isn't that right, Bartek? As a cat owner.
You've asked me this already. I said no.
Yeah, they do
No,
land
they
on their
always land on their feet.
No, Ryan once asked me, you've done it before, right? And I said,
You've
no.
dropped your cat
No, I haven't.
on accident?
No, it jumps out.
feet. I've dropped my cat accidentally. Of course, I've never dropped it on purpose.
Oh, come on. You've never just grabbed it and just went boop and let it
Not,
go
but just
onto its
lift
feet?
it up in the air and just randomly off you go.
But it lands on his feet. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it-
get
it
injured.
does,
I'm not
but,
saying
you
that you
know-
drop it off a 9-story building. I'm just saying you
I've-
drop it off like
I've-
30 centimeters off the ground.
Ryan,
I've placed my cat.
It's like that whole trust thing. You fall, I will catch you.
And the cat will trust you if you drop it because
No,
it knows
boy.
that it will
What?
land on
You're
its
holding it.
It's a
It's
cat.
like, you're holding
It will
me.
know that it will land on its feet.
It's a cat.
Yeah, you're right. Cats are dicks. You're not
Cats
reckon
are
making
dicks,
a good
yes.
argument for
I'm not-
cats.
I'm not saying that your cat's a dick.
Look,
Bartek.
it's not like I'm gonna go up to a black belt and punch him just because I know he's gonna block it, because that's rude. And it's
But
not
if
nice.
you're at a dojo and that's the whole point.
Well, that's different, Ryan. You can't go up to a cat and say, "Okay, we're having an understanding. I'm gonna pick you up and I am going to drop you."
But
You can't do
if
that.
you do that enough, that could be the playful relationship between you and a cat. It's not like
It's-
if you walk up to
No,
a cat.
but right, if that's the case, if you train to do that, then it still starts with that whole, distrusting. It's
But-
like the liar revealed, except with being a dick.
But you are assuming that there's a level of mistrust. If you build up the trust of you're gonna drop
Well,
it,
no,
so that
no. If you don't want to say
It's
Mr.
how
doesn't
do you
have
get-
that instant fear of.
Okay, so you're
cats-
saying people who train animals to do tricks are just liars to their animals. You're like, all right, this guy is gonna make this dog do a jump, but ooh, he had to force it to do that. Terrible.
Ryan,
It's a cat. It knows we're dicks for some reason.
Ryan, a
It has
dog-
Cats are dicks.
Ryan,
No,
that trick right there is the dog doing its own thing. This cat thing relies on you picking it up. and
Because
it's like,
cats are
okay,
fucking lazy."
I'm being picked up right now. It's holding me. I'm gonna be up here until it lets me down. Oh,
And then
shit,
you let it
just let me
down.
go. Even though I landed on my feet, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't like
See, a
it.
dog just dropped right there and it doesn't land on its feet.
Dogs
Hold
don't
on,
land
Rhys,
on their
Rhys,
feet, Rhys.
You're not helping this.
I like how he's like, dogs always know to land on their feet.
Rhys,
You know that
I'm on your side. You're on my side.
You know that one episode of The Simpsons where they have puppies, and then she keeps dropping it and just keeps landing on his back because Bart's proving a point that cats are the ones
This is me
yeah.
in a conflict. I'm never on anyone's side. I think I'm on...
Rhys, you just turncoat without intending to. It's like, no, you're wrong. I'm gonna shoot my ally. No, Rhys, that's not what you do.
But I love it. We're not talking about the movie. We're talking about cats being dicks, and I
He's
like
a
how you're
vet,
both
Ryan.
agreeing with me on a level, but you're
We
like,
just-
but it's
We're
the
seeing-
trust of
we're
the
seeing
owner.
your point, but we
It's
don't
just-
agree
It
with you.
seems like you've had this argument before. Have you?
We have this because it's like
Not to this level.
you own a pet, right?
Yeah.
How long have you owned this cat, Bartek?
14 years now?
So when you were a small child.
I mean, I was 10.
All right. Did you have a cat before that?
No,
So it was your first pet and your only one.
apart from fish. Yeah.
Fish aren't pets.
They are pets.
Fuck you and your fucking.
Fish always land on their fins.
They do technically.
No, they don't land on anything. They're always in water, so you
Not if
can't-
you pick them up out of the water
Yeah, but they-
and drop them back in.
Yeah, and
Careful,
then
he might
they
betray you.
You pick them up and you throw them back in, and they swim back into the
Throw a
ocean.
fish back in. You
Yeah, you
place
do.
it back in.
You always throw a fish back
kinda
in.
drop
Now
You
who's
throw-
the monster?
You throw a fish back in,
but
and it
see
just
what happens?
swims. It
See what
doesn't
happens?
land on
See,
anything.
now you're making mistrust happen between you and the fish.
I'm not making
The
mistrust
fish-
happen.
The
I'm
fish is
simply
so
saying the
tiny when
fish
you
goes
hold it in
in
your
the water.
hands. It's shaking with fear, and then you fucking pelt it back into the water like a cunt.
And then it swims back in the ocean.
I mean,
There's
if
no
you're
big deal.
if you're pelting it, that's a problem. But if you just like,
And I'm not pelting a cat. I'm gently dropping it, and it lands on its feet
Yeah, but
because it's
that's
a
on-
feline.
yeah, but with
That's on purpose, though. Like, you just...
And
if
you're dropping a fish in the water on purpose.
Yeah, but if you drop a fish in the water, it just happily swims into
And
the
a
ocean.
cat, when you drop it on the ground, drops on the ground and just casually walks away. It's not like it drops on the
You're
ground
making an
and
assumption
then,
that
and
it's
then
gonna
squeals
happen.
in
what
pain.
What if the
Like,
cat
what
has
are
a
you
broken
about?
leg? It won't
Well, I'm
land on
not
its-
dropping crippled cats, am I? See what you're doing, Rhys? See what you're doing? Now Rhys is turning on you and me and
I'm not
himself.
turning, I'm
Excuse
just-
me, because this is what he does. I said a cat, and Rhys hears my argument, and hears yours, and then he doesn't even know he's anymore, and then he has to go like this. Well, if the cat was crippled, Ryan. I'm like, well, I didn't make it that. You made it that. See, you have to make expectations
think what
different
Rhys
to
is
what you're
saying-
saying.
I think what Rhys is saying is like you got to make sure. the
Yeah, I
cat's-
think you know if you have a crippled cat and a non-crippled cat. I think you, as an owner of a cat, would know if your cat was crippled. That was the point. Oh my god. Like, I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying. Oh, you know, all cats land on their feet, especially the crippled ones. I've been testing it. Like, I just grab cats with broken legs and just drop them and make sure they land on their feet. I'm saying you just grab an average cat. Not all cats. Not your average cat is disabled.
Yes. Well, that's
Hey, it's
taken into
Steven
account.
Root. There he is.
Oh, fat guy.
Right.
Can you not
We've
white?
moved on.
Can you not white's a slimming color?
What?
White is a slimming color.
Well, it's not a very good white then.
No, his is scrungy. Oh, you know what we like? They can change clothes. In this universe as ghosts. Like,
He
she's not
looks-
always in a wedding dress.
Yeah, he looks less like a hobo here too.
Well,
Slightly.
well, he
I really like
still
Steven.
has that hobo look about him.
He was in Idiocracy.
Yeah, he
Was
was.
he?
He was
Yeah.
the judge.
No,
In that
okay.
sequence, he's like, hey, boy! He's in all Mike Judge
yeah,
things.
Mike Judge. I was about to say.
Office Space, King of the Hill, Idiocracy. The best film ever made is Idiocracy.
Oh, we even talked about Luke Wilson.
That's very nice.
Oh wow! So- oh wow!
Yeah, you know,
What the hell was that?
It was a cat dropping on the ground.
You can't do that, Ryan.
When a cat drops on the ground, now they say, "Oh wow."
You told me that you haven't dropped a cat on the ground.
Oh, that's good. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh shit, I just got dizzy.
Yeah, and you know why? You don't know if a cat goes "oh wow" when you drop it on the ground, because you guys said if you've never dropped a cat on the ground, it's just come out of your
I might
hands.
have accidentally dropped a cat, but it certainly landed on its feet, so it's fine.
And I'm saying when they land on their feet, when you drop them on purpose, they're fine and they go "oh wow" because they're fine.
No, they don't. They don't.
How
go
do you
and
know?
land and-
How do you know? You just said you've only dropped them accidentally.
They go.
Look, I just see it as a difference of me accidentally hitting like, oh sorry, I didn't mean to do that, and me going, yeah, I hit.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. With certain animals, especially cats, they don't have the human qualities that we do. They are.
They're still
It's like
members.
you know when you drop a cat, it's not gonna be like. It's not gonna, like, if you just drop a cat, like, if you just have it there in your hands and you raise it, like, a foot off the ground and drop it, it lands on its feet, it's not gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe Bartek, my owner, just dropped me right now. I am not gonna trust him ever again. I'm gonna
but
remember
that's-
this day
right,
for the
you-
dawn of
That's
time.
the general behavior of cats sometimes. You know?
Ryan,
Cats are just
but what you're
jerks
getting
in
there is that
general.
maybe it doesn't like that.
Because that's what your argument is.
But I mean, I can't make sure for certain that it doesn't like it or
So,
it likes
but
it.
you,
So why am I going to risk it? What do I have to gain?
What is there to lose?
Unless somehow the cat really enjoys it, which I don't think is going to be the case.
But most cats don't enjoy water, and yours does. At some point, you took the risk to find that out, even though there's nothing to gain.
Technically, my mum did, but
Oh.
what do you mean there's nothing to gain?
There's nothing to gain to know if your cat likes or dislikes water. There's nothing
It was
to
a
gain.
hot day.
Fly me to the moon.
Yeah, and what happens if your house is on fire
Oh,
and you have to
God.
drop your cat out the window? Are you going to be like,
The
well, I'm not
cat
going to...
has instincts, Ryan. He
can't-
will run out the house.
Excuse me. Are you telling me that there's never been an instance in which an animal has gotten trapped or lost in a situation like that? Rhys.
Oh, important plot point here. The bird is speaking.
Yeah, who cares about the bird? You're
Oh.
right. It doesn't have a name.
First of all, the problem here is that we can't open our windows. We only have, like... The ones that we can kind of open have fly screens in front of them.
That's why you break the fly screen in emergencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd break it, and then you would drop your cat out. See?
I mean,
there's
that's-
situations, it's just like, oh, because I won't take the risk, that means there's nothing to gain. Well,
what are you
just
talk-
because
what
I
are
don't
you-
know the Earth isn't... like,
Hello,
just
you
because-
talked about that whole thing of disabled cat, and now you put a fire there.
Yeah, because my situation is different, because Rhys was saying in one
Well, shit, if I
giant
can get it out of a
sentence-
fire, I guess I would do it. But, I mean, I'm not going to just do it randomly.
But you were saying I wouldn't do it because there's nothing to risk and nothing to gain. It's like,
Yeah.
well, but my argument is the same. There's nothing to risk, and there's no, so why wouldn't I?
I don't get your argument.
My argument is, if I can, why can't I? If there's nothing to risk, why can't I do it? Why can't I drop a cat? Knowing for a fact that it will be fine because it will land on its feet.
I mean, like,
Because that's what cats
going
do.
back to me hitting you, it's not like you're going to die or, like, not going to live, but I'm not going to do it because it's not...
Yeah, but you're saying that that's assaulting someone. That's giving them physical pain.
I know, but it's still not like...
But you're not physically
But it's
injuring
not-
a cat.
yeah,
You're
but
just
it's not something it wants
dropping
to
it.
do. as
How
far
do
as I'm
you
concerned.
know?
Well, how
As
do
far
I-
as you're concerned.
Why would I assume that it would want that?
And the
The
fact is,
cat
you're saying
would
you're
want-
projecting that cats have wants and desires other than warmth and food and water. And to go to the toilet.
If
That's
you drop
what they
it, it's
want.
what it has to do. It has to land on its feet. It knows
Yeah,
it can land
and
on
have
its
you never, as a kid or any instance, played with an animal or seen an animal to see its natural instinct reactions? Have you ever swatted a fly to see how it would react once it's been hit? Have you never flicked anything to see how it would react? Have you ever pushed a dog away to see how it would kind of skirt away? Have you never done any of those things before?
Sorry, my nipples are getting itchy. Sorry.
Don't scratch your nipples.
No, they're just getting itchy. It's just getting out of hand. Whew.
Have you never done those things?
Maybe,
Just
but
see-
they're probably not my pets.
Why
not
does that
living
make a
with-
difference?
Well, I'm not living with them. It's not
Why does that make a difference?
What are you trying to say?
Why does it make a difference? What's the difference? Why does it matter?
Give me an example, like, of a thing.
Why does it matter if you've done that? You've physically tested the instincts of other animals. It doesn't matter if they live with
I
you or
wasn't
not.
torturing them or anything.
I'm not saying you're torturing them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, why does it matter to you whether you live with the animal or not?
So, for an example, pushing the dog.
Yeah.
So I push a dog because I want it to get away from me.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Or say, and I'm not saying like you fucking push it, like you just push it out of the way to get it.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, like that. And you know, dogs are kind of, it depends on the dog, but some dogs are real dopey and they'll kind of skid over and fall over, and they're not going to be like, that fucking cunt pushed me. Unless it's already an antagonistic dog.
Okay, so I push the dog away because I want it to get away from me.
Yeah.
I don't live with it, so if it doesn't want to get near me ever again, that's not going to really bother me.
Yeah, but animals are not going to... It's not going to be like
You
that.
do know that they have memories and stuff,
I know
right?
they have memories, but then don't have the concept necessarily as you would of right and wrong. When you push it out of the way, it's not going to say to itself, he did that to be a jerk to me, or he did that because he wanted me out of the way. It's going to be like, he just did that. He just did that,
Yes,
and I'm over here now.
He might do it again. So it might want to avoid me.
And then it wouldn't. But then it will also, you're also underestimating the intelligence. It would also know that, oh, I'm in the way, I guess.
I mean,
It's not
we
going to
don't
be
know
like running away from you each time you see it because you're going to push it.
am I underestimating or are you overestimating? I don't know.
I can't be a moderator of this.
Because
You're
you
a
know
pet
I'm
owner.
right.
What? You're a pet owner, Reese.
You're a pet owner or pedo?
Pet owner. You own a pet.
I thought you used to call me a pedophile. I'm
No.
sorry.
I thought you called you a pedo as well. I don't understand why this is such a big deal.
You're
Like,
making it a big deal.
but you are so against what I'm saying. Like this is an unfathomable idea
Because
that you can grab your cat up in the air to say your knees or your chest and just drop it to see its natural instinct kicked in, its animal instinct. It's like, why throw the dog a ball? Oh, is it cruel to make the dog think that you threw the stick when in fact you didn't? That's its natural instinct. It will just run and then come back. Will it think, oh, that guy's betrayed me? No, they just still fall. They still do it because it's their natural reaction.
I'm only responding because you gave me this whole thing of you've never done this before, and I'm
You've
telling you
never
why.
done it as a
And I'm
pet
telling you
owner?
why.
Because it's just so fascinatingly peculiar to me
Okay,
as someone who's
I'm
owned
gonna
pets
make a
as
point.
well.
I'm gonna make a point.
Have you never?
I would recommend you get a cat.
I
Not
don't-
to drop it, but just to have the pet. Have the
I don't
cat.
want a cat.
Bartek, do you think he needs a cat?
Cats suck.
If you're saying just for the purpose of learning this lesson, Reese, then probably not.
Well, no. If he gets, if he learns,
But for the-
when
for
he
the-
learns something,
Eva
with the
Longoria
pet-
learned a lesson too.
I guess if the whole idea of being around certain animals you're not used to learn about how they behave, I guess.
I would say he would learn a lot about having a cat, or maybe even a dog.
I mean, that's kind of, the way things work, but...
Yeah, like we could do a movie about it. You know, Ryan has this sort of
Oh,
this-
documentary?
Yes.
No, it's a mockumentary in which Reese is dressed up as a cat.
Okay.
And I have
you-
to drop him
You
off
can
buildings to
you
see
can
him land
pick
on his
me
feet.
up. I will not land on my feet because I'm that
Well, I
uncoordinated.
think the problem there is pick you up. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're very tall.
I'm also very fat.
Are you?
Yeah,
How much do you weigh?
80 kilos.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't look it. How
Shit,
tall are
you've lost
you?
weight.
Yeah, I was about 100 last year.
How tall are you?
6'4".
Yeah, you're just taller than me. I'm 6'3". So it's like, but I don't understand. Like, okay, I get it if you were, say, a first-time owner of a cat when you're like an adult. That childlike instinct and wonder and curiosity that killed the cat never kicks in
I don't
as
think
much.
you want to say that in your argument.
No, no,
Ryan.
no.
I fucking do because it was spot on time.
You're arguing about curiosity.
I know, but,
Of humans, not cats.
exactly. And there's that thing
Wait,
when you're a
hang on.
kid where you do.
Actually, no, it
You-
does
you-
apply because cats are curious. Says, why did the human drop me?
Exactly. But there's that thing of that childlike wonder of wanting to know. Oh, what happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? animals are very interesting, and I find it interesting to the fact that it's never kicked in. At no point have you just never.
I know of the concept. I knew of the concept, but I just didn't test it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The instinct never kicked in.
I could ask my brother. He was like 4 when we got the cat.
I'm probably sure he did. And have you never made animals do things that they're not necessarily supposed to? Like, have you ever made your cat dance? Have you
How do I do
I
that?
ever put socks on your cat?
Like,
have you ever...
You take it by the top 2 legs and you just sway it around.
Oh, you
9
oh,
lives.
You make it. Right.
Yeah, but they don't like that. They really don't like that.
No animal likes anything.
No, well, it attacked me.
But you know what I mean? Like, you've done that.
Yeah.
Why is that okay? You know the animal doesn't like it. Did it ever trust you again?
Okay.
Did it
no.
fall out of
It
love
did-
with
it did-
Rhys
it did
because
trust-
he did
It
that?
did trust me again because I didn't do it again. Because I knew that she would claw me in the face.
Yeah, you learned a lesson.
I think the cat also learned that I respect her wishes
I love, but
sometimes.
you learned a lesson because you were afraid of physical pain.
Yes.
That's what you learned. And then over time, you've interpreted that as a mutual respect of the animal and yourself. But what you learned was, I'm not going to do that because that's going to hurt me.
All you're saying is because of the effect
Physical
it had on
threat.
me, not because of the effect it had on the kitty.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're worried, I'm going to get clawed if this happens. Not,
all right, that's fair
the
enough.
cat
That's fair
had
enough.
this traumatic experience in which it's going to forever be changed by me making it dance, me putting socks on it, me making it fall to the ground on its feet.
Oh yeah, I'm going to make a point. A film by what?
A film by Cast.
That confused me too at first. Yeah.
And then it
That's
stays there?
Yes. Oh,
Well, it's like a film by all these people. Actually, that's kind of clever.
That is actually sweet. I want to see if the bird has a name in these
I don't
credits.
think it'll appear.
Parrot.
Jeff Lo...
Oh, that's the director.
Announcer.
So,
Oh, stunt doubles.
we have argued a lot about cats,
Cats.
and not so much the movie,
We
but I
missed
think
the whole climax.
Yeah, we missed
we
the
already
whole
explained the climax before, but,
Yeah, but-
there was the end cut sequence in which I don't know
We
if
were talking
Orb of
about
Light.
cats.
the angel's joking around or not. I don't know.
I've heard of the concept of happiness leading to orbs of light being created, but I don't know if that's what this was going for.
And she wanted family ones.
Family ones?
Yeah, she said your family's orbs of light. I'm like, what?
The family thing throws me off.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we didn't see how her family was affected by her death, so I guess you got me there.
I thought.
Oh yeah, it's not even covered. Oh, now that's just.
But she
unacceptable.
passed her mission.
Yeah. So we argued about cats. We talked about the brilliance of this film. We're now going to give reviews and ratings of our choice. I'm going to leap straight in. I think that this film has an interesting idea in there. And the execution for 95% of it is fabulously done. It is wonderful. It is great. And I think it's that 5% that wasn't that great. The kind of moral ambiguity of our characters, true feelings, all that kind of stuff, who you side with, who you don't side with, weighs the film down into an unappreciated masterpiece territory. And that's an upsetting thing, but I think that 90% is still very strong. Lake Bell is, although a bit, scummy at times, I feel like she brings a lightness, an energy, a comedic quality to the film that is a sparring partner to Paul Rudd, who has a real Chevy Chase style delivery in this film, really dry-witted, really cynical, but sweet underneath as well. I think that that Eva Longoria was the right amount of high maintenance woman. Like, she felt like a realistic high maintenance woman in a surrealist situation.
I would say that when she was alive, it was a bit exaggerated.
I was still I said this. I was on her side.
No, I'm not saying that she was unlikable, but it was a bit exaggerated. I think.
Have you been to weddings?
Yeah.
Have you seen The Brides? Go Bridezilla ever?
Yeah,
I have. It's
haven't.
pretty realistic
It's
what she was like.
pretty full on.
It's pretty full on, but it was pretty. So, Over Her Dead Body, I think the title is really well chosen for this movie as well. A lot of the time we don't talk about how important a title is to a movie, but I think this one, it is really important. It's a play on the old phrase. It's a clever joke, but it also is a thematic tone to the movie. The idea that this...
Did you look at the IMDb trivia?
Yes. And, the thematic tone to the movie, and, the idea that a ghost, a former flame of love, would be willing to give up their former flame for their happiness, the flame's happiness, the living person's happiness, but that's not the case in this movie necessarily. Like, she wants Paul Rudd to be happy, but she's more concerned with her happiness. And in the end, she sacrifices that for Paul Rudd, and I think that's great, but I had my problems with the fact that she doesn't get any form of happiness of her own at the end of this movie. I liked this movie, though. I had a lot of criticisms, but I have positive ones and negative ones, and I think that's what you need to come into with some films. And with a lot of films, ones that are great, I have negative criticism. Ones that are terrible, I have good criticisms as well. I enjoyed this song. Sorry, I was looking at... I can see clearly now, and I really like that song. I enjoyed this film. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it 9 out of 10 dropped cats.
Alright. Rhys or me? Me? So this film, it's definitely... look, first of all, it's one that didn't get too great reviews. It is an unappreciated masterpiece. Not a lot of people, that quote-unquote matter, gave it a high enough review to make it, kind of acclaimed or anything like that. And I think that does fall back to the age-old flaw of the audience and how it's interpreted. Like, certainly you could argue that the film might have been made a bit too ambiguously, like a lot of the part of this episode was us debating. It's not so much that we were saying what was happening and what this meant.
Yeah, we weren't all on the same page on this one.
Yeah, it was a lot of debate. It was like antagonists, protagonists, and just
Cats, whether you should drop them.
Terrence Malick.
And we brought ourselves into it too, and I think that really makes it sort of a brilliant kind of film that you have to walk in. Like I said, I walked in blind. I think if I walked in knowing what it was about, it would have kind of made this episode a bit easier on us, because there was a lot of yelling. But that being said, when I did watch it my first time yesterday before this recording, I did laugh quite a bit. There were a lot of funny stuff, and I think we have to remember that this is a comedy film, and a lot of the things that we would kind of analyze in films, like, character motivations, if characters had comeuppance, or if something bad happens, it goes back to that theory that all comedy revolves around someone suffering, which I don't know if I subscribe to, but I guess this film kind of does subscribe to that, because there's a lot of suffering in this film, in the sense of, like, there's the gay friend who doesn't want to be in that situation.
But he's not gay.
He's not.
I'm
He's
so sorry, he's straight.
Bisexual.
There's him, he's in a situation he doesn't want to be in, and we kind of laugh at, when he sets his hand on fire and stuff like that. We've got Eva Longoria, even though, Ryan, you were sympathetic to her, others thought she was bitchy, and at the end, even though, we have that ambiguous, is she happy, is she not, she still gets kind of shafted by that whole orb of light thing.
Fucking angels.
Lake Bell, do we even have to go into that? Like, she was kind of started off doing something as a favor, and it ended up turning her into someone who you even describe as duplicitous in a situation she doesn't really want to be in. She was just trying to, I guess, the noble reason of letting a guy move on.
What about Sam Pancake?
Sam Pancake, what was he? Was he an actor, or was he like a music guy?
He was an actor.
Was he? Who did he play?
I don't know. I don't even know if it's a man.
Okay, well, he or she was delicious, and I don't think we can argue that. And of course, being an unappreciated masterpiece, it does fall back into that whole notion of people who appear in unappreciated masterpieces later go on to do great things. And that's how we got Final Fantasy 13, thanks to Over Her Dead Body.
Thanks, Over Her Dead Body.
Thank you, Over Her
Thank
Dead
you.
Who's the director?
Jeff Lowell.
Jeff Lowell.
Thank you, Jeff Lowell or Lowell.
Let's call him Jeff Lobo.
Lobo.
Lobo?
Lobo.
Like,
Lobo.
like the wolf?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a wolf.
A wolf named
Hungry
Jeff.
like the Lobo.
We'll make him our OC on DeviantArt. Jeff the Lobo.
Jeff DeLobo.
What do you have to rate it, bro?
What do I have to rate it? Bro?
Yeah.
Bro, do you want me to rate it?
What do you have to what do you have to rate it, low bro?
You didn't have to call me low, bro. Now I feel bad. I am going to give this film a rating of... Hear me out on this. I'm giving it 5 stars because in Final Fantasy 13 you get a star rating at the end of every battle.
And is only up to 5?
Yes.
Here's what I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna be like, it is 13 Final Fantasies out of how many ever there are.
If this film had a lot of endings, yeah. We're currently up to 15 mainline games.
Reese, let's hear from you. You had a lot of feelings going in. Let's hear them.
Feelings going in.
And
yes,
now
indeed.
coming out. Reese is coming out to us.
Well, I did watch this one this morning, so I'm fresh off the boat basically with this film. And as I made it clear in the first half of the episode that I was not intrigued as my co-hosts as the hosts. I do apologize.
Cohort.
Oh, we'll give it to you.
Yes. And I must admit, throughout this episode, it has been quite entertaining to actually watch this one again, and I've realized Bartek is right. There are some great moments in this film, such as the shower scene, the dog scene, scene, and Jason Bigg just suddenly being straight. Oh my goodness, that was a shock, wasn't it? But I can see why you've chosen this, Ryan. It is an unappreciated masterpiece, and let's ask ourselves, why is that? Well, for one thing, it has the talent assembled. It's not Avengers sort of assembled, but it does have the talent to pull it off.
It has an Avenger in it.
It does have an Avenger. It has
Yeah, Lake Bell. Yeah,
Lake Bell. It has Paul Rudd, who was in Halloween 6.
Technically not an
my
Avenger yet.
my not so favorite Halloween film. It has Eva Longoria Parker, who has a very long name.
She's just now Eva Longoria.
Yeah. And it has Lake Bell, who is a pretty good actress, I must admit. If you see her in a film called In a World, she is aced in that film.
Is she a whole lake?
Yes. And it also has Jason Biggs. You don't get to see much of Jason Biggs these days. I mean, you get to see him in, like, the
You're not watching the right movies. Then.
Yeah. And it's always and Jason Biggs. It's always never the leading man is Jason Biggs anymore. What happened to those? What happened to those?
Too many
guys?
pies.
There were too many American Pies.
Yeah.
I've only seen 2 of them, and one of them was a spin-off.
So I have to appreciate that the film did its absolute best to get the best cast it could for this film, and it did. It's a rom-com. It got the best people to do it. So my rating today would be a Terry Hatcher out of a Felicity Huffman.
I'm glad that you did not watch more than 20 seconds of Desperate Housewives, but you do know 2 of the cast members' names.
I do remember because they tried to drive a manual car once in that series, and they didn't know how to drive it.
Well, we got reviews. I've got reviews from IMDb. Bartek has comments from YouTube. Let's dive straight in. This is an 8-star review from 2008. So the movie just came out. Fresher off the boat than Reese. It's called I Did Like It. Look, it's Eva Longoria and Paul Rudd in a movie about a dead girlfriend haunting the new girlfriend. It's Gabrielle from Desperate Housewives and the guy who wore Sex Panther cologne in Anchorman. If you're expecting a Golden Globe nominated movie, then you need to rethink how you look at movies. However, if you're willing to suspend reality for 90 minutes and want to watch a funny movie, then you've come to the right place. The characters are all funny. They work together very well. The real matchup is Paul Rudd and Lake Bell. He's as funny as he was on Friends, and she was funny and good looking all at the same time. I went with my wife. She enjoyed it, and so did I.
What a nice guy.
Now we have a negative review here.
Oh dear.
Straight off the bat, Bartek, negative. 2 stars. Prepare yourself for this. 2 stars, 2008.
Out of 10?
Out of 10. It's called I Hope I Find 10 Lines to Describe This Poor Excuse
Oh,
of
is
a
it
Film.
another one of these?
Review may contain spoilers. I had to shut this off about after 15 15 excruciating moments.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was hoping it might improve. What I saw was badly acted, directed, and written.
Wow.
This movie should never even have been released directly to DVD. No, you shouldn't have even got that, guys. The lead character, who is a bride top, be from hell.
Excuse me?
The lead character, who is a bride top, be from hell,
Typo.
has an huge ice sculpture fall on her, killing her. She was such a revolting person. I was not even sorry for her. She winds up there in a sort of heaven and was still repulsive. I left shortly after. Eva Longoria portrays her, and I hope I never see her again. She can't even act. She is just plain annoying. Paul Rudd, an actor who normally can do no wrong, was also in this dud. Jason Biggs, no longer a teen, is also present. I do like comedies, but not stupid ones about stupid people. Rating, and then they have an asterisk. Just 1 out of 4. 30 points out of 100. IMDb, 2 out of 10. And that's the end.
That was harsh.
What? 30 out of 100, but 2 out of 10?
Yeah.
And what was that other one? 1 out of 4
4.
stars?
So, Bartek, let's hear from your YouTube comments.
He gave it 25%, 30%, and 40% all at the same
The
time.
next review on Rotten Tomatoes will be 50%, and then Metacritic will be 60. So Bartek has now, just to clarify, you have comments from YouTube. What YouTube videos are these from? Is it the trailer, scenes? What exactly?
I believe the majority are from the trailer.
That's excellent. Yeah, blast us with a couple. Right in our face.
Blaster.
In Reese's eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wipe that off and read it. Oh, this one's a bad. This movie is fucking awful, just like everything Jason Biggs is in.
Wow.
Guys, we need to kind of revitalize the Jason Biggs. So I've picked 3 comments to help us with that.
Thank goodness.
OMFG, Jason Biggs at the end was so funny.
Oh, he was. He was very funny.
Another one. Haha, oh my gosh, it's Jason Biggs! Both of those were all lowercase, but this one has 4 exclamation marks. That's why I did it louder.
Okay.
This next one is all caps, but only 1 exclamation mark.
Oh, so it's okay.
The American Pie Guy!
Reese has a heart attack and itchy nipples.
Yeah.
This next one. Ha 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 ha! I love this movie! Eva and Paul, less than 3. Less than 3 being the
What is
highest.
wrong with YouTube commenters?
Nothing.
Honestly.
They're honest. Should I read one more or
One more, please.
this is my longest one? But it's a comment, so I'll be short.
Hit us in the balls.
I'm going to be honest. I don't care for this movie.
Ooh.
If I wanted to watch Ghost and the Three Stooges, I would go watch Ghost and the Three Stooges.
Wicked combo.
Where's the Three
Because
Stooges cut?
because
But-
at least they made sense. But then again, I'm not like most 19-year-olds. Sure, it was funny, but it didn't make much sense. Had a lot of overused cliches, and the characters just acted stupider than I could believe. I've seen this type of movie before, and this one doesn't have much going for it in the originality department.
Wow. Well, I've got a 5-star review here. Very middle of the road. Glimpses of Superb Talent from 2009. And, look, this may be more negative review, or could be more positive, but this person's from Stockholm, Sweden, so they may have Stockholm Syndrome to the negativity train.
Fuckers.
It's called Glimpses of Superb Talent. I wasn't overly impressed by this movie, mostly because of the script. Hollywood is not very imaginative when it comes to think outside the box. Thus, all films follow the magic and boring formula of a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when Hollywood decides to go wild and add something else to that concept, it usually ends up spoiling the movie. They did it in this flick. I'm not about to reveal anything, but it has to do with Jason Biggs' character. Still, the movie has its moments. All ghost movies has that in common, that there comes a time when a medium or similar relates what the ghost is saying to a loved one who can't see it. We saw it done better in Ghost with Demi Moore, and they spelled Moore with just one O. Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg, and more recently in much funnier movie Ghost Town with Ricky Gervais. This movie has that scene too, but the disappointing script passes over it too quickly and with not much result for the plot. The highlight of the movie is the acting of two leads, Paul Rudd and the surprisingly funny Lake Bell. I've long had a growing admiration for Rudd, who has developed a very similar style to that of Chevy Chase at his best. If ever a serious production of sequels to the Fletch movies gets a green light, the casting agent would do wisely in considering Rudd. Lake Bell is rather new to me, and I was severely impressed by her comedy talent. She could easily be pictured in the over-the-top comedy things and take on female lead over Jim Carrey's character in Dumb and Dumber. Or Ben Stiller in There's Something About Mary. The Farrelly brothers could have a new star in her. In conclusion, this film was watchable. Ghost Town is a better movie in all considerations, but Rudd and Bell are a joy. And that was a review.
That was a review.
Just one.
I have two more left.
That
one's
was a
longer and one's short, so hit us with a couple.
I've got 5 comments left.
Oh no, hit me with 2. Baby. One more time.
How come Rotten Tomatoes gives negative review on this hilarious film? Maybe that tomatoes getting even more rotten. And this comment should be the highest rated comment for no reasons.
Yes. Well, I have a 9-star review here. Male critics and men in general dump all over good movies like this one.
No.
Yeah, this review contains spoilers.
Reese, did you write this one?
No, I did not.
I took a flyer in renting this movie, but I gotta say, it was very, very good. On all fronts, script, cast, director, photography, and high production values, etc. Proves Eva Longoria Parker is head and shoulders in rom-com above bad actors such as Kate Hudson and Jennifer Aniston, who mug and call it acting. Who'da think it?
It should be who'da thunk it, my friend.
Who'da think it? Parker and Isla Fisher are in a class by themselves in this regard and should try to hold out for projects as good as Over Her Dead Body. Lake Bell is excellent too, and this is the first time I have seen her. And finally, Paul Rudd gets to shine in a really good movie instead of lesser films. A movie like this never gets its dues from close-minded males. That's just one sentence, by the way. Just never does by these close-minded males. Well, just to go off review, we gave it, even though we're close-minded males when it comes to cat dropping, we knew to give this a good feel.
I gave it a straight up 5 stars.
It's too bad, as other IMDb reviewers have noted, there is nothing lame about this gem, no hack writing or acting, and its description of contemporary LA and California in general makes every scene look bright, beautiful, clean, and otherwise outstanding in every way. Never before has a movie made LA look so good. What a little talent and a lot of caring can do for a movie. I won't divulge the plot, but as a long-time and hardcore atheist, I was willing to suspend disbelief and buy into the supernatural theme in order to enjoy an excellent and lighthearted piece of entertainment. It reminds me very much of the old Topper movies, which were also enjoyable. This movie exposes popular but otherwise hackneyed movies like Ghost for the mediocre and overly sentimental crapfests they are. We already know the public taste leans heavily toward the mediocre. Some of us save our praise for the truly worthy, however. If you have ever enjoyed other overlooked gems such as Into the Night with Michelle Pfeiffer and Jeff Goldblum, Blind Date with Bruce Willis and Kim Basinger, American Dreamer, chances are with Robert Downey Jr. With American Dreamer, they just didn't even bother with any cast members. Chances are, with Robert Downey Jr., Christopher McDonald, and Sybil Shepherd making Mr. Right with John Malkovich, etc., you'll enjoy this. A first-rate job all round, even if it's kind of hard to believe a straight guy can pretend to be gay for more than 5 years. But even the plot device doesn't detract from the movie's overall excellence. Bartek, hit us with your final comments, because I have one last review after that, and it's...
After we're done with that, I'll just say one thing, but that's for later. H8, so hate. This movie had to watch it on a bus trip, S. Not a colon, semicolon.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 22 seconds. ONG. So funny, I fell on the ground because I laughed. ... LOL XD. 1 minute 23 seconds. Funny too. : 2 double Ds. So I remember that the funny 2 one was when Jason Biggs got his arm set on fire.
Yeah.
And 222 was
The minute in the trailer?
in the trailer,
Is it
yes.
there?
So she commented on the latter thing first. It was one of Jason Biggs' lines where he basically explained what was happening. He's like, yeah, that's completely normal. I've heard of that before. So it's a Jason Biggs fan. And I said her, but I'm assuming because I'm good. Because remember at the beginning of the episode, I'm good, Bartek?
Yeah.
You're Evil Ryan?
Heads I drop cats.
And the final comment. Why do women that are not wimps put up with boyfriends that are? I have no problem with it going against societal expectations, but as I see it, it also goes against nature/biology/evolution.
Nature.
If only it was limited to fiction, but I know it's not. Both a sister and a cousin had husbands like that. Is it a Florence Nightingale complex?
Well, I have a 7-star review here, Bartek.
Yeah.
7 stars. Eva Longoria, the best of the movie. Actually, my vote is a 7.5. Anyway, the movie was good. It has those funny parts that make it deserve to see it. Don't misunderstand me. It is not the funniest movie of the world, and it's not even original because its idea that we have been seen before in other movies, but this one has its own taste. A friend of mine told me that this film was a film for boyfriends. I think that not exactly, but who cares? Also, there's another movie that show us almost the same topic. Chris Rock appears in it. The name is Down to Earth. Men, that one is very funny movie. Funny movie. See both if you want, and I know that you will agree that Mr. Rock won with his movie. I would like that the protagonist male character were given to Ashton Kutcher. However, the film is good. That was written in Mexico.
Wow. Great. So we brought up earlier that it'd be really weird or cool if she could like possess people in the film. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no! He's being possessed by Eva Longoria Parker.
No, it's something much worse. It's.
Oh no! Is it the antagonist of the show, Rhys?
What? No, I'm here.
I like how you have to scream over.
Over her dead body.
Oh no, Roger Ebert.
2 out of 4 stars.
Oh well, he
by
gave it a
Roger
mediocre
Ebert.
review.
Why is nobody utterly in awe of ghosts in Over Her Dead Body and so many other ghost comms? Here is a supernatural manifestation from another realm, and everyone treats it as a plot device. The movie even drags in a Catholic priest who seems bewilderingly ignorant of his church's beliefs about ghosts. They don't exist. And treats this situation as an opportunity for counseling.
Well, that's fair. I mean, he wants to convert her.
Now the setup. It's the wedding day of Henry and Kate, Paul Rudd and Eva Longoria Parker. She's a type A perfectionist who races manically around the reception venue, straightening place settings, adjusting decorations, and flying into a rage at the ice sculptor, Stephen Root, who has delivered an ice angel without wings. She orders him to take it back and bring her one with wings, which, as everyone knows, all angels possess. He argues reasonably that you can't...
Reasonably?
He argues reasonably that you can't just stick wings on an ice sculpture. Then, in a tragic accident... Tragic, you see... No, that's not in there, but I'm just pointing it out because we said tragedy earlier. Like,
Thanks, Roger Ebert's ghost.
Ryan and the guy I'm possessing. Then, in a tragic accident involving the sculpture, Kate is killed.
No.
Flash forward a decent amount of time, and Henry, still in mourning, is informed by his sister Chloe, Lindsay Sloane, that it's time for his life to begin again. He should start dating. He won't hear of it. He's still in love with Kate. She persuades him to visit Ashley, Lake Bell, a psychic she knows. He does so. Is she a psychic? Sometimes. She begins to get vibes. So does he. Neither one needs to be psychic to realize that they are falling in love.
You know what I really liked about that review, Roger, is it was more of a synopsis than a review.
Yes. Now let's get to the second half.
Oh, fuck.
I guess it's alright for psychics, as opposed to psychiatrists, to date their clients, but Ashley seeks advice. She gets it from Dan, Jason Biggs, her partner in a catering business. Also from Father Marks.
Thanks, Marks.
William Morgan Sheppard, who
Told ya.
also doesn't know that his church doesn't believe in psychics. Was he ordained by mail order? The church teaches that consulting a psychic is a sin, although it doesn't totally rule out info from the other side, suggesting it could be disinformation from Satan. Anyway, eek! The ghost of...
Anyway, eek.
Anyway, ... eek! The ghost of Kate appears, none too pleased that another woman has designs on her man.
What?
I'm not joking. That another woman has designs on her man. She intends to sabotage their romance. What happens then?
Don't know.
Kate looks real, although she has no material presence and can walk through walls, etc. I always wonder why walls are meaningless to such beings, but they never fall through floors. Do elevators go up without them? Never mind. The plot plays out as you would expect it to, as the amazing presence of a ghost is effortlessly absorbed into the the formula plot. If it were me and a ghost, I'd put my personal agenda on hold and ask all sorts of questions about the afterlife. Wouldn't you?
No.
The film kind of addresses that, but let's forget that.
Yeah.
Heaven in this movie is represented in the standard way. Everything is blindingly white, and everyone is garbed in white.
Fun
even
fact,
an
it's not
angel.
heaven, but okay. It's not heaven, but fine.
Shut up. Even an angel, played by Callie Rocha, who has, by the way, no wings.
Wrong.
Well, of course it doesn't. Being a pure spirit, it has no need to fly. Kate switches back to a conventional wardrobe for her sojourns here below, which means a stay. I looked it up.
Good one,
I got
Roger.
the word from a thesaurus because it sounds good. Even in a movie with a ghost, the hardest thing to believe is the revelation that Dan makes to Ashley. They have worked together 5 years, and yet she is astonished. I will leave the revelation for you to discover, only adding that I believe it would be impossible for Dan to work 5 years in the catering industry without his secret being obvious to everyone.
Wow, Roger.
Consider for a moment
Homophobe.
how this movie might play if it took itself seriously. Would it be better than as a comedy? I suspect so.
Yeah.
Does the premise, her ghost turns up and fights the new romance, make you chuckle? Me neither. It's the kind of angle that could only seem funny at a pitch meeting. Not only have we been there, done that, we don't want to go there, do that in the first place. Which is kind of what I said about Deep Rising. What a shit show, am I right, everyone?
Get out of here, Roger Ebert's ghost. Fuck
Why
off!
am I screaming, guys?
Fuck off. Why are we screaming?
Why I got Roger Ebert's review open? Screw that.
Because Roger Ebert's a cunt. That's why we're screaming. So thank you guys for listening to a very interesting episode about life, death, moral ambiguities, what duplicitous means, cats, whether you should drop them or not, or whether you can drop them. That's really the argument I'm making.
And Terrence Malick.
And whether artsy or up themselves is a better describing, phrasing, words, adjectives for
Thing.
men for Terrence Malick. Whether Rhys is the actual antagonist of the
Oh,
group.
now, come on.
Who knows? You guys have been fantastic, amazing, wonderful, great, obviously, wonderful again, listening people.
Can I say something just to add to what you just said there, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. So, if you guys want to help support us out, we have iTunes, we have Facebook, we have Podbean, we have YouTube. All you have to do is just search for Spit and Polish Presents and listen up to the episodes. We have a great back catalogue now. We've done many movies. You can give them a thumbs up or a 5-star rating or review, or hey, on our Facebook we have the ability for you to suggest a movie that's an unappreciated masterpiece. We don't know all of them. Like, we didn't know Over Her Dead Body before going in. I decided to go on the blind luck that it will be, worthy of our show, and luck won't always last. It didn't last for Eva Longoria in that movie. And it may not last for us, and we need you to help us with knowing next film we could do. So drop us a line. Rhys, it was fantastic to have you on the show, even though you were quite a bit of a jerkwad in this episode. I think it was just, you were really upset about the fact that that I was right about the cat dropping stuff, and you just didn't want to admit it. It's fine. It's fine. Bartek, it's always great to have you possessed by Roger Ebert.
What?
I know. You need to listen to the episode and you'll find out. It's spoiler alert for the episode that's just taken place. And Ryan, myself, it was very hard for me to dig deep into this episode. It's very hard to expose one's inner workings of how a movie didn't work for me, or whether or not I think you can or should or would be able to drop a cat and it would be fine. Thank you guys. As always, remember to be kind to each other.
Yes. So, do you want to try improvisation again?
Yeah, Rhys?
Want to do a word at a time thing again, or sentence at a time story?
Let's do it.
Word at a time?
Yep, word at a time.
Alright, Rhys, do you want to start it off?
Dearest,
Brother.
I
would
Rather.
have
watermelon,
Then.
that
peach,
You.
will
like,
My.
peach
because,
It.
is
very
Tasty.
and
luscious.
And.
I
Would
Have.
your
plum
If.
you
give
It.
to
my
Dead.
fiance
because
She.
really
doesn't
Like.
watermelon.